All
All right.
right.
I think
So we
we're
are rolling. I want to thank everyone who's here, whether you're a player or a watcher or, uh, you know, uh, just hanging out, and listening to this post fact. I am Aaron. I go by Prim or Luxa on the Parahumans Discord, and I will be your GM. Here are our players. Why don't we go around real quick and introduce yourself? Just say maybe a little bit about yourself and introduce your character and kind of the high concept really quick. And we'll go down starting with Doth and ending with Solder.
Hi, I'm Grace. Um, I Doth DIY'd on Discord. And I'm playing as Bubble Trouble, Mover Stranger, loves justice, a little bit too much.
Utaro, why don't you go next?
All right. I'm Itaro. I'm Itaro. Itaro on Discord. I'm playing Ivanushka, a tinker who specializes in security and making webs. He's also canonically one of the best dad in the Wormverse, by default. That's it.
And Nerd.
Hey, I'm Nerd. I'm playing Rezhisser. I can't do anything with Russian, but it means stage manager, and he is a former musical actor who is able to basically, as long as he's talking, do.
uh, cool. I'm Clark. I'm playing Solder. Solder is a Case 53 tinker who specializes specifically in heat weapons, and yeah, and her whole shtick is she's out for vengeance. That yep, one sentence.
Very relatable to many capes in Weaverdice, I'm sure. So we are all testing out the new Endbringer guidebook that I'm putting together. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Sleeping Beluga and A Mass Hallucination, who are helping me out and will be running their own games. Best of luck to them on the Paris versus Behemoth and Yellowstone versus Behemoth games. So we're testing those out. We're expecting some bugs and hiccups and learning experiences. This is going to be a very teachable moment. Um, and this is mainly a test of the system to see how things go, see what needs tweaking. And you will all see as we get in that'll hopefully be helpful. Um, so unless there are any other questions, we'll jump right in and get started with kind of the layout of how this all came to be and what happened here. And hearing no questions, we'll get started. So, yeah, it was probably late at night that you all kind of got a sense that, and started hearing that stuff was wrong. There were, talks of slight seismic activity, right before you went to bed, uh, you know, around Moscow, particularly central Moscow. And, it wasn't anything seriously high, some low level ones and twos on the Richter scale. But after waking up today, you find that has transpired into a whole different sort of issue. The television is showing on repeat a video footage of a large creature appearing underneath Moscow University, um, collapsing the entire building and coating the entire campus in fire in under a handful of minutes. The camera feeds quickly cut out as whoever is taking them either runs and leaves or is immolated by whatever happens. The Russian government talks about military action ongoing at the situation. Um, and this is kind of just what's filling your feeds throughout the as you all wake up in the morning. You all operate from a base slightly outside of Moscow, but Moscow is definitely your main stomping ground for Red Gauntlet operations. And it isn't long after all of you wake up that you get a call via radio from one of Moscow's high commands, Priam. Priam is a radio wave thinker. Their brain is able to intercept and understand radio signals just as well as you might understand words. And as such, they are able to speak and communicate using that as well. So they act as sort of the communication for Red Gauntlet, able to talk under the radar and in secret radio communication waves. So you have radio signals of sort, and those are all coming through and lighting up. And so you get this call from Priam that is basically Red Gauntlet command to Troop Squadron 1, come in. Who do we think answers?
It's got to be stage manager, right? Like if you.
Sorry, I missed that. What was that? Sorry, I was looking at my.
Yeah.
So Red Gauntlet High Command is Colin. Who do you think kind of takes the lead and is kind of acting as the voice or intercepting the main communication here? Do you think?
No.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. So you've had some time to think about that, I'm sure. So did you come to a conclusion?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Rez is the face, and so Rez will be taking the call.
Sure. So Priam, is like, Red Gauntlet High Command to Troop Squad 1 Moscow. Come in. Over.
We're here. Over.
We have an issue going on in Moscow. It appears that the monster that attacked Iran and New York earlier has reemerged. We need a squad to get to a site on the Moscow University stat.
I believe we can do that. What exactly are we expecting to face here?
I'm not asking you to face anything. We have capes amassing already to try to stop and curtail the creature, or at least help move it into the military's path. We believe that there are capes at Moscow University who have left behind materials that we need collecting. There's a Karaton was a tinker we know worked at Moscow University and used the resources there. He was under the radar and, well, he hadn't necessarily joined, but the materials he was working with were dangerous enough that he could avoid joining Red Gauntlet. We want to make sure that they are either properly disposed of or we're able to put them to full use.
We can do that. Are we expecting any sort of resistance from anyone around, like the Elitnaya?
No, I don't believe them or the Bravata should give you much issue. I imagine they're going to stay focused either on the monster, or more likely they're going to go to ground. The military is probably your biggest issue, but it looks like that emergency responders are staying on the scene. Firefighters and ambulances mostly. The military seems to be focusing on the creature. It's moving northward as of now, and it should be far enough away by the time you get there for you to engage without issue. Radio in once you found what you found, and we'll give you further instructions. Let's see if you can locate whatever it was that Keratin was working on.
All right, we can do that. Rez is going to then look around to his teammates. Does anyone else have any questions?
How big of a gun?
Keratin was working on suits, not a gun. Somewhere in human.
Not how big of a gun, Keratin. How big of a gun should I take? I'm asking Rez how big a gun I should take.
Oh, never mind.
Well, the plan is to hopefully not get in a fight. I don't think we're expecting any resistance, so hopefully nothing too big will be needed. Granted, if this big monster somehow changes courses, that could be problematic, but I think our better idea would be to just get away with what we're going for.
Bubbles like, so bring your biggest gun.
Yeah.
Do I have a known range limit for my teleporter?
Yeah, none.
I'm gonna place it here. I'm gonna place one part of it there. I'm just gonna say, for safety.
Sounds good. So you got a teleporter back in your base, well outside of Moscow. All right, sounds like a plan.
Question: if
yes.
we're leaving, if we're using this teleporter on people, do we really want to leave it in our base instead of like outside somewhere?
At that point, if we need to use it on people, I don't think it will matter.
And someone can go through with them, and at least, and we have more than one teleporter. Yes.
Yes.
We'll be fine.
All right. So any other preparations before you head on out?
Other than the trying to spend the next hour or so getting my suit shockproof.
Yeah. I'll imagine most of the changes that you've made to it, for this fight are stuff that you Tinkers are doing kind of on the route. And I assume you have a van of sorts, something you can carry, your Tinker Tech in, without issue and all of you, no problem. So yeah, you set out, it probably doesn't take you, it's probably a 30-minute drive to Moscow. Normally it would be like a 20, but traffic is pretty bad going in and out. Definitely more going out, you would say. Along the way, you're hearing news reports, coming in, and it sounds like this creature that, is being. It seems like there was some debate on different channels about what to call it, but eventually it seems that they've settled on the American classification rather than the Iranian or Indian or sort of the other or the Australian terms for it. For some reason, that seems to have picked up more steam and press. So people are indeed starting to call it Behemoth. Although many of these reports refer to it as an Iranian cape. There is definitely a sense that this is a cape that has emerged from Iran, or that it is an approach there as it initially appeared there. And so, you hear about sort of some of the things. The Moscow University seems to be almost completely demolished in some of the first few minutes. And then afterwards, the creature started moving north. And along the entire area, it was destabilizing the ground. So there are now large sinkholes opening up north of Moscow University in the line that it is following. And huge numbers of buildings have sunk into the ground, trapping people. And the military has started attacking with fighter planes from the nearby Moscow air base. No significant damage has been cited, but that you hear that at least 30 planes have been lost in the initial attack, and it seems like the army is planning to move mortars into position from outside the city to begin shelling soon.
Hopefully we'll be out by then.
Yes, hopefully. So the other thing that I should mention is that Priom is at your disposal. He is you have a portable radio with you, and he basically gives each of you a automatic 6. So at any point during the rest of the game, unless something happens that would lose you Priom's help, you can call him for assistance in any sort of situation and use that automatic 6 to make one of your rolls a 6.
Is it a 1 per person or 1 per team?
It
1
is 1 per
for all.
person, so each of you
Okay.
gets 1. Yeah. And if you wanted to, I don't see any reason why you couldn't, give them to someone else. But, for initial fairness, basically each of you has 1. And so, yeah, it is, so you eventually show up, at Moscow University. The fastest way in is through sort of the main entrance because you're coming kind of from the west, and so you arrive, kind of here in this circular roundabout that kind of serves as the main area, and all around you there's this green woodlands that's well maintained, but a lot of it is you can see small fires starting in many parts of it and starting to burn. And looking over at the actual university itself, the Moscow University Central Building at one point was the largest building in all of Europe. It was easily one of the largest ones. But now there is nothing there. There is just this huge pile of white ash, melted steel, and flaming remnants of trees. The asphalt is cracked, and you can see places where entire sections of the greenery has started falling into the ground, and you can see this entire area. There are people in bright yellow hazmat suits, picking through the area and using hoses to wash down materials here and there. Some of the peripheral buildings of the university itself have also been seriously damaged, and there are still ongoing fires, but it seems like mostly the main building was destroyed. You can see this, big, almost, liquid gash in the ground flowing from the university and the giant hole of where Behemoth came up, heading north in the direction. You can see him on the horizon, his back. He's coated in smoke, and so you only see bits and pieces of him when he, moves. And you can see occasional white hot bolts of lightning shooting out at objects, further north. So you end up at this intersection, and you can see that there's some barricades here, but there's also a mass amount of people, and there just aren't enough authorities to keep track of all the people who are trying to get out and trying to get in, looking for loved ones or destroyed things. You might stand out a little bit because of your costumes, but yeah, what do you do? Oh no, my internet did a thing. All right, so where did I cut out?
We just arrived on campus. A large building is rubble.
Yes,
Yeah,
large building
everything's
is rubble.
burning.
Yeah, everything is burning. The main, sort of campus has burned so much that there isn't anything left to burn. It's kind of just ashes now. Some of the peripheral burnings are on fire or crushed to varying degrees, but that's what the authorities are kind of focusing on. And there's this huge crowd of people, kind of around the center that is trying to get in or take care, or asking about loved ones or trying to get out. And you can see that there's medics everywhere trying to attend to people. You kind of show up here at this intersection, are able to hide back a little bit, in the line of cars. What do you do?
We should go help those people.
Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get out of the building and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and walk up to it and use my Hydra tail to try and move rubble out of the way as best as I can.
Sure thing. Go ahead and yeah, you're totally able to do that. Is there anything you're kind of focusing on when moving rubble, or anything in particular?
I'm just trying to put it like somewhere out of the way, and I'm also using my trinket shut off every time I'm touching the stone to make the heat stop.
Sure. Yeah, no, you're
Um,
able to do that. You're able to start, clearing some of the flaming wreckage out and, moving some of the other stuff. People are hosing down. Yeah,
are
what
there
about the
any
rest of
buildings
you?
on fire? Like,
There, yeah, so you can see, kind of further out, it looks like a lot of the attention is being put on um, a building sort of to the west. Um, you can see kind of a building a few blocks down that is being, given the real treatment by firefighters.
mhm. I'm gonna go assist those firefighters. I'm gonna like just run down, hold up the demon glove, and send one of the orbs into the building to help extinguish the fire.
Sure thing. Yeah, you're able to do that, no problem. You're able to
So
start there.
we've got the fire being extinguished over there. We've got one person moving rebel. There's a crowd of people here.
Yeah, there's people trying to get out and in, and they're kind of, just moving on and around those sort of barricades that have been there. Mostly there's medical staff like tending to people who have, suffered burns or serious lacerations or lost limbs. You can hear people, saying to, medical personnel, I need to get in there, my roommate's in there, or and you see people trying to get past and like, you need to help me. I can't feel anything in my arm, and you can see that, like, huge, gashes of blood. You can see people with, large wounds on them. Yeah.
So I'm going to with that try to handle the people,
Hmm.
calm them down, and maybe get them to stop moving around so much.
All right, sure thing. Go ahead and give me a presentation roll. Or do you have, yeah, what sort of role do you think you're using? Presentation, rapport,
Um,
something along those lines, or just general social?
I can do presentation.
Do you want me to come and help?
I have the charm skill for that extra dice on first impressions and stuff. I want to make myself just feel trustworthy.
Sure. All right. Go ahead and give me a roll for that. And if you wanna, and who was it that wanted to help out?
I can help.
Sure, you can give me a roll too using social, yeah, something appropriate.
Can I use presentation?
Yep, absolutely.
How do I roll with this bot?
So it should be the percentage sign, and then roll, and then 1d6 or 2dh, which would be the highest, and then plus or minus any modifiers you have.
Uh, okay, from the third pip, I'm able to get basically the entire audience to sort of focus on me as we're saying this.
Yeah,
From the
totally. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then second important question, where do you want
Yeah.
us to roll?
Roll in the Summer Behemoth if possible.
I just did.
Cool.
That is a 1.
All right. So yeah. Okay. And then Resner, give me your roll. Or sorry. Yeah, there it is. Sorry. Yeah, there's. Try or
Roll,
yeah.
not on the hour.
There we go. Perfect. So yeah. So
Smiley, I love you too.
well, let's get him out of the way early, shall we? So yeah, so you turn and you immediately, see people, start to, panic and start, saying, "Oh God, parahumans, stay back," and so you see everyone giving you a wide, breath, and you hear someone, you see someone, who was like fairly close to you, Bubble Trouble, or try to, come closer to them, but he was like right in front of you when you all started talking, and you see someone physically push him just straight back towards you, and says, stay back, you might be infected, get out of here. And you see someone, you can see the crowd visibly moving away from you. and afraid. And you can see people pulling out phones and starting to videotape or make calls. That being said, though, you also feel a tap on your shoulder, uh, Resner, and there's and someone tug on the back of your shirt. And you turn around and you see what there's a woman there. She's wearing clothing that looks like it's been singed around the edges. And she says you got to get out of here. Come with me. There's something this way. Hurry. This is gonna get bad. And she kind of nods over her shoulder and starts running. And you can see both of you give me a wits roll real quick. Yeah.
Mine is the 3.
Yeah. Okay. So so you both can see, yeah, that's it looks like one of the medical group is going to their car and is pulling out what looks like guns. And the whole crowd is starting to disperse and try to get as far away from you as possible. So what do you do?
The people who look like they're pulling out guns, I just fire off a bubble at one of them.
Sounds good.
How close are the other members of our team?
Sorry, say that again.
How close are the other members of our team?
They're a little bit farther away. They've started to go out and clean things and help out with that. You can get to them in fairly quickly if you wanted to. If you were like really going to get them, they're not so far away that it'd be a huge issue though.
Okay. Yeah, because we should definitely probably get. Does not feel like a good situation to be in.
Whoever the gun guy is, do you want me to roll to hit?
Sorry, say that again. Ooh, hold on. All right, say that again one more time.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to roll to hit the guy who's like going for a gun?
No, they're not moving. They're near like a large, thing, and they're kind of just all pulling out guns. You're able to hit them no problem, and yeah, they're all surrounded by it. And you can see inside, of course, and you can see that they're kind of panicking. So, yeah, they're not doing much, and you can see people, further dispersing and trying to get away from you all doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, they just float away.
Yeah, they're just going kind of backwards. Yeah. And sorry, what was the plan for the rest of to move around and try to get out of here, or was there a? I think I cut out before.
Whoever this lady is, I'm just following.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna also call out to the other members of our team to come with us.
Sure. Yeah, you're able to follow them, no problem. She's not trying to stay super far ahead, but she's leading you into there's kind of a small concrete shed that she's moving behind that looks like it was probably like a water pumping station or an electrical thing, kind of just something that was in a forest but is now just surrounded by the charred bark of trees. And you can see behind you, there's definitely more of the authorities and people in hazmat suits kind of, giving you a distance but watching you. Solder and Ivanushka, what are you both doing? You hear the others are shouting, hey, we something's gone wrong, there's an issue. What's your reaction?
Please clarify. Gone wrong?
I would have not immediately dropped, but I would have finished what I'm doing. Sorry, I would have finished what I'm doing before running up to them. Finishing clearing the few rubbles in my way.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Yeah. I think she's a little bit hesitant. She's still waiting for clarification. You have to say more than gone wrong.
Sure. So I assume you all have like maybe some shortwave radios. So you all hear back, Sauter saying, you got to clear up what's gone wrong. What do you think you say, Bubble and Resner?
Some people
Rezhisser.
don't seem to be taking necessarily particularly kindly to us being here, so we're going to investigate a potential lead that we have over here.
She say that's great and all, but which building was the Tinker shit in?
Yeah, y'all don't know that yet, to be honest. But probably by this point, Bubble Trouble and Rezhisser are probably getting closer to the shed, and kind of where this lady is, kind of ducking around and staying hidden. And it sounds like Doth's, finishing up what you're doing and going after him. Or Sauter, are you continuing to help put out the fires in the building you're in?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue putting out.
Okay, sure. So,
Fires.
okay, hold on one second. I think my. All right. So you turn the corner here. So, Bubble Trouble and Rezhisser, you're there first, and you turn this corner and you see that this woman is kind of standing there and she's wringing her hands and she looks scared. And you can see exactly why, because there are 5 people behind this building with her. There is the most impressive of these, or the most kind of one standing closest to you, is a gentleman with a bulletproof face mask, in a suit, and with a Kalashnikov, slung, in front of him, and he's, just kind of standing there casually, and he has a small black book in his hand, and he is, looking at you. Next to him, there is a sort of androgynous figure that is all, has pure black skin and is covered in sort of hard. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, you just can't hear us, can you?
Oh, I can hear you, Sauter.
Okay, because you talked like right before whatever the fuck.
Yeah, basically
You started,
and
you
what
were
you
like,
see
and you can
is-
see why she's scared looking, and then nothing else. And then just in the middle.
Yeah, sorry, I think I cut out there for a second. So, yeah, so you've heard about this figure with a suit and the gun, and so yeah, so there's this figure there, with a bulletproof mask, a suit, and a gun, kind of held in his hands loosely. He's flipping through this black book with his other hands, and next to him there is this pure pitch black androgynous looking figure, with hair flowing down its face, like a sort of a Japanese ghost style, where it's just in sheets almost as long as its body, and its whole body is covered in these white sort of squares and small designs, and it's on all fours, kind of crawling crab-like. And around him, there are a variety of other very obviously capes. There's someone who's kind of has this militaristic Sentai style costume, that kind of reminds you of some Japanese capes. And there's a very militaristic look to it. And around them, you can see there's hovering this cloud of sort of orangish geometric shapes. There's a woman with this wooden armor that's carved with various figures. You can see it sort of looks like the classic Russian workers' panels, but it's all in wood and it's on her body. And you notice that it is all sort of famous Russian women and figures, leaders and inventors. There is a figure standing there with kind of this glassy blue armor that's sort of almost see-through, and they have a large sort of glass tank strapped across their back, and they seem to have this sort of impressive knife there. And you can see next to him, next to her, there is a a sort of gelatinous humanoid shape. And then finally, there is a man who looks much younger. He's wearing sort of military casual uniform with a kind of this scarf as a mask, and he's kind of standing there, leaning against the shed itself, with sort of a very laissez-faire posture to him. And so you turn this corner, and the first thing that you hear is this man, points at you, Resner, and said, this man with the gun, points at you, Resner, and says, Damien, and then he points over at Bubble Trouble and says, Dorothy. What do you do?
Do I know this individual?
You have never seen any of these people in your life.
Bubble, like, stumbles a little bit at hearing her name, and she's like, excuse me? Who are you?
I am Sorvost, which roughly translates to something along the lines of morals or conscience in Russian. And he says, I'm here because a very reputable person gave me this. And he holds up the book. And he says, and it told me your names, and it told me that I needed to get these capes, bring them here, and assist you in whatever goal you had to mitigate, and he points in the direction of Behemoth, this situation.
And who was it that gave you that book?
I am not allowed to tell you that.
I'm sure you can see how that can make it a bit hard to trust you.
Yes, I do. That being said, the only thing I can promise you is that this situation is going to get much, much worse. And I have a list of things here that could potentially help you all. These capes were specifically chosen because they have abilities that the book thinks will help you alleviate the damage caused by Behemoth over there. And I wish I could tell you more and be more trusting, but I cannot, unfortunately.
Does Dorothy recognize any of them other than the main guy?
Do you have street smarts at all? Or any sort of skills that would, kind of give you a sort of a sense of who local capes might be?
No. She can lie, she can talk sweet, and she can shoot you with her.
Well, those are all good skills to have, but I don't think they help you out here specifically. You could give me a no roll with a kind of high DC, probably looking at a 5+. And if so, then you might be able to recognize a few of these capes. I'll give that to both of you.
I think that there's been a lot of silence on the radio, so I think Esther's probably walked into here at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, so I imagine, a little bit later, yeah, both, the other two of you show up. So, uh, Solder, you and Ivanushka show up, a little bit later, and you see the similar sight. These five individuals, or six individuals, sort of, are kind of standing there. They're you can see a few of them are kind of keeping watch and trying to keep the eye out there, and they're kind of asking the sort of thing. And as you both arrive, he turns to each of you in turn, and he says to Ivanushka, Vladimir, and then as sort of Solder shows up, he points to you and says Esther.
She tries that was an easy guess though, right?
Esther, I have very specific instructions for you. And he kind of looks at the book for a second.
Oh, do I recognize the book?
No, you do not. But he says, consider this your third.
She nods. You motherfucker. That was
book
directed to
said
Aaron,
you.
not him.
No worries.
What'll it be?
I have a set. They want you to use these capes and myself to deal with your current situation.
Has he said his name?
Sorbost.
Sorbos?
Yeah.
I'm going to be asked to be pardoned for a moment. I'm going to sort of walk over to the side. And I'm just going to ask Priom if this is someone they know. Not as like the automatic 6, just as
Sure.
like, hey, is this someone who's affiliated with us in any way?
They say no. We don't know any capes by the name of Sorbost. After checking for a little bit. Do you describe any of the other capes at all?
Yeah.
Sure. He said. He says. The one with the Sentai style costume is probably Gusentius, master. Uh, Small minions and large minions. The one with the armor is definitely Prustoda, oxygen manipulator of some kind. I recognize them. I don't know who the other two are.
Thank you, that's good to know. He's kind of lost in thought a bit, trying to figure out what to do as he makes his way back over.
Sure.
I think Esther's gonna be like, "Oh, we've met before, haven't we?" Like, I think she's like leading like a couple months ago.
Nope. It's a great looking behemoth, I gotta say. All right. All right, I'm back. So, you said, I recognize you or something along those lines, Sauter?
Yeah, like she's like maybe coming up with a story like, "Oh, we totally met outside of the Kremlin a couple months ago." Like, or there's probably some sort of code word to understand that. Yes, I understand who this is. Who's asking me to do this?
Yeah. He kind of picks up and nods. Yes, it was brief, but we did run into each other. I'm going to ask you to vouch for me and maybe not these associates that I barely know, but at least for me and the authenticity of the book.
Yeah, and she's gonna nod like, "Yeah, he's trustworthy. He helped me. He's helped. Well, the people who have contacted him have helped me before. Before I was part of Red Gauntlet."
Well, we do already have a mission, so what I'm thinking could be a good idea is if you all help us with what we were sent here to do, I think, unless my teammates have any objections, we could end up helping with this larger situation.
Sorvos kind of nods and says, "That sounds perfectly adequate with us. We're happy to help in the mission to any extent we can."
Like starts to nod her head and just step back and slightly behind one of her teammates. Just like raises one hand to like below her chin, an easy position for her to bubble herself and disappear if needed.
Of course. Brilliant. You see one of the other capes, the guy with who was leading up against the area and had kind of the military casual costume and the scarf as a mask. He kind of steps up and says, "Okay, so I don't want to be here any longer than I'm sure anybody else does with that thing over there watching us. So what exactly do you need us to do?"
We are grabbing something that belongs to a tinker. Keratin, we do not know where it is. We know it is on. We know it is on these premises.
Oh, okay. He kind of nods and sort of says, "Well, allow me to introduce ourselves more fully now that we've gotten that out of the way. This," and he kind of points to the figure with the long hair and the black skin, this is my minion. It is quite capable of combat, but little else. Gusentis over there, and he nods to the woman in the Sentai style costume. Master, she has more of those things running around the place, keeping tabs on things, and she has something quite larger in a nearby van. Bustoda is, how did you say it? She says, oxygen destroyer. Yes, that's very delightful colloquialism, and you can see him kind of roll his eyes under his mask. Perhaps the most helpful is Tina Duet over here, and Tina Duet basically translates to slime duo. Uh, how would you describe your own abilities best? I steal what people know, and I use it, and I also make this guy, she slaps the bluish, sort of liquid looking thing next to her, which kind of doesn't even move. Her hand kind of just goes right through it like it's water. You said you're looking for the location of something in particular. This, who is it?
Keratin, I believe, is the name.
If one of you helps me go back over to that crowd there, and I can probably scan some folks and see if I can find memories related to that name.
And you're like, that seems. So who's playing?
Hi.
Hello. Is it Rezhisser? Okay, yeah. You. She's gonna turn like about like, I think you and Ivanushka are gonna be. So you and Rezhisser are going to be the most useful in that regard. You're better at people than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can also sneak over there if we need to, because it seems like they don't want us to be around.
They're just gonna have to deal.
Bubbles like, if they really don't like it, we can always forcefully send them away.
True, but if we don't have to, let's avoid that if we can. I can
see
make it so that we can sneak
the
around pretty well.
the young guy with with the military casual kind of speaks up and says, "Yeah, avoiding hurting any of this innocents would be ideal in my book. I definitely don't want to cause them any more trouble than they've already suffered today."
I didn't say anything about hurting people. It's just a leisurely float.
I suppose. You can see some of the others. The others don't seem particularly concerned, but he seems to be a little worried about Mephis here. But that being said, yeah. So Resner and Ivanushka are here actually. Let me give you something here so that you can remember these folks a little bit easier. All right. There's pronunciations, which I honestly can't do justice to. The Russian language is a beautiful language that I just don't have the tongue for. That being said, so yeah, so Ivanushka and Rezhisser, you're going, with this Tina Duet to sort of scan the crowd and try to do what you can over there.
Okay, well,
just double checking to make sure I heard correctly.
Yeah, we're going over there. Are we going to go for the... Who's going to be in charge of the stealth? Bubble Trouble or me?
How does your stealth work exactly?
Basically, for 30 feet around me, and it can grow over time, I can reduce sound in the area and granting us 3 extra pips of stealth.
Mine is good if we're moving somewhere,
Yeah,
because it's
mine's
an
more...
initial like 50 feet and then another 20 feet past that every round
Mhm.
of just invisibility.
Yeah, that's
But if you're
probably
trying to go
better for
somewhere
that.
slow, can't
Yeah.
help with that.
Mine's better for staying still and being stealthy. Because it's got a lot of other effects with it.
Sure. That sounds good. And then, sorry, and then Ivanushka, were you going with them or were you staying back with Solder? I think I might have mixed up Bubble and Ivanushka, who I heard there.
Oh gosh.
Oh, no worries. It seems like that. Yeah, they might be. Okay. All right. I see. So let's go ahead with that. So you both start moving over with Tina. Why don't you both of you give me? So you're both able to activate your power. So, Rezhisser, are you activating your power, kind of doing that, or was the what was the plan there?
Oh, I think the plan was to use the bubbles, wasn't it?
Okay. All right. And so you're going to use the bubbles and kind of float over there and move over there.
I think that's the plan.
All right, nice. So, yeah, you're able to use the bubbles, no problem. It's a good amount of distance, so there's not too much issue of like, running into folks. Go ahead though, and let me double check how the bubbles work to see. So what is it? They need a wits 4 to see in or to notice anything crazy going on.
It's DC 4 to see the bubble. You still can't see inside, and then
Right.
attacking them has a -2.
Right, that makes complete sense. Okay, fantastic. So let's go ahead with that then. Well, yeah. So you're able to float over, without issue, and no one's seeing you. Oh, Rezhisser. Okay, Rezhisser. That it?
I think it's sewer. It's kind of weird.
Rezhisser. Okay, Rezhisser. Okay, fantastic. No, that's good because I am sure there are some Russian people listening who are going to just
Oh no,
yeah,
you've
this
been
this
butchering the
pronunciation.
names, they
Yeah,
say.
I'm just doing it, and I'm gonna apologize to everyone again and again, but I can't. I wish I could be as good.
Yeah,
of
I
a
just
fellow
Google
like you.
translated my way through that name.
No, totally. So yeah, you're able to move over, and no one really notices. You approaching. Tina Duet, is kind of scanning over the area. And you can see that they leave their minion behind, and they're kind of feeling out, and they're saying this is going to take some time. I can only hold so many people's thoughts at once, and it's not really thoughts. It's more memories or snippets here and there. So I need to remove the ones that aren't helpful as I accept the ones that are. So give me a moment here. So let's see here. That's going to go up to that. That's another use there. So we're going to go up to that. And let's see here. Okay, lucky there. Doing a bunch of fancy stuff. So yeah, so she seems to be doing her work and doing all that stuff. Solder and Ivanushka, did you stay back or did you go with them?
I stayed back because I think we're gonna go just grab the Tinkers. Well, we should at least try to like help put out the fires or something like that. Because if the stuff is in a building that's on fire, it will explode. I don't know, that's my idea. What do you think, Itara?
What? I'm sorry.
So they're in a public trying to figure out where the hell this Tinker
Yeah.
stuff is. I think we should at least like go in and try to we should try to put out as many fires as we can.
Yeah. I mean, of course, because like if we are to sit around, let's help people. The people most in harm's way, I'd probably teleport to our base.
Sure. Yeah, there aren't a huge amount of people in harm's way right now. Most of the people have either died or have been evacuated by this point. Like most of it's trying to contain the spread to jump, from the campus itself to nearby buildings. So like there's people putting up, like spreading, sand over areas to try to, remove flammable materials. And, the roads, they're trying to, hose those down and, put out the fires there. So, you're able to kind of go to there's a nearby building that's on fire and, you're able to, clear away debris that might catch fire, Ivanushka, while Solder kind of uses the demon glove to remove other, risks there.
Yeah.
That being said, though, both of you kind of, are doing this. You're kind of able to get a good, to look out, over the, you have a good view of kind of the battlefield and the further up north. And you can see that there are what looks like arcing trails of lightning that are spewing out from Behemoth over there. It looks like there are, that he's currently, blasting something further off that you can't see and, sending lightning bolts, shooting pretty much all over the battlefield. And you see a clutch of them start, dancing, across buildings and towards you all. You see them striking, cars and lampposts and, dancing over grates and moving down the street towards you, and as well as some of the firefighters that are nearby that, haven't really spotted you or that are kind of, working on hosing down some of the fires. What do you both do? And you're also here with, the other, these other capes that showed up that, aren't, they're also nearby. They're not helping out as much really, but you can see them nearby.
I'd start to furiously snap with my whip toward the area, using the shut-off trinket.
Sure thing. Yeah. So you're trying to do the shut-off trinket over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
So
that's your committed action. Do you want to do anything with your partial action?
With my partial action. I'd probably as soon as that's done, I'd probably run into cover in a place where lightning couldn't in a straight line go at me.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Solder, what about you?
How effective is Ivanushka's trinket going to be at shutting off the power?
So in terms of what Ivanushka's trigger or trinket does mechanically is all ongoing area effects, fire, electricity, and smoke within 15 feet are shut off until the end of the duration. All AoEs are suppressed and do not take effect. Power-created AoEs have a 50% chance of not working within the shut-off radius. Any effect that does also has a 50% chance of being suppressed each turn it is activated. And so to be clear, this, kind of bundle of lightning, Ivanushka, is sort of coming down the street towards the area you are all in. It's kind of arcing between different metallic objects. And you've thrown it kind of, try to put it in, put this trinket down in between where you are and where it is. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to take Ivanushka's lead and motion to the other people with us to follow Ivanushka.
Sure. Yeah. So you see the other people moving. Sovest and Pustoda are moving quickly and trying to get behind cover. Tina's not there, and this guy was probably told you his name by now. Tsar Pitstada is also trying to get behind cover. So what I need you all to do right now is I need you to make me a. So you're getting behind cover, and that's definitely going to help. So if you're just using the cover, so it's probably going to be a withstand while you're behind cover. So I'm going to need you to make me guts guts rolls, and so the number you're looking for here is 2+, but you're going to add 1 to your roll if you have a significant amount of metal in your costumes. If you're currently holding any metal items, and you're not really near any significant metal items. So basically, this is going to be give me a DC 4+ for both of you on guts, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Could it be dodge?
Yeah, if you want to use dodge, actually, that's fine too. So you can either use dodge or you can use withstand to try to do this. But it's going to be a DC 4+.
Right.
6 plus what like again?
It would be anticlimactic to die in my first roll.
Perhaps. I'm not entirely sure this would be how. Well, remember, you have that automatic 6.
Do I have any things that help me with dodge at all?
Safe to say I dodge.
Yes, you're good. I now have to roll for all of these wonderful little
I'm-
other people here. So you're. Oof. Okay. And let's see. How much metal do we have here? Well, actually, that's all wood. That's a +1. So.
Is the well made out of
Sorry, say that again?
metal?
Yeah, the well is
my
metal.
Wood standing behind it block the effect.
It wouldn't block it. It would give you armor against it, but at the same time, it would make the difficulty harder because it is a large metal object you're near, right? So it would make the test harder, but if you did take any damage from the test, it's going to go to the well first. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to go, what's that going to be? 1.5. Okay, good for you. And then this. Oh, come on. Sorry. Okay, you're good. He's good. And 3 on Czar, which Czar is 2+. Does he have significant? No, he doesn't have any. And I don't think he actually. Oh, but he does have the gauntlet. So that's going to be. Oh, that's actually right on the money. So he's fine. So, Solder, what'd you roll? 3?
I did not make.
Okay, so yeah, so you only lost by 1, so you're taking a moderate shock. As you know, these lightning bolts. Well, actually, go ahead and give me a any roll and tell me if you get a higher than 50%. Like roll me a d6 really quick and tell me if you get a 4+.
Okay. I got a 3.
Okay.
Yikes.
So yeah, so you see these bolts, starting to leap around and over metallic objects, and one of them, it just skirts past the lockdown zone, and you see like a lot of the lightning bolts, they get into the lockdown zone and they immediately start fizzling out and falling out of the air. And actually, you can see ones that were kind of homing in towards Czar and the others start, fizzling out. But unfortunately, one, dances around the side street, jumping to a lamp, and then shoots straight for you. So go ahead and suffer a moderate shock. And if you have armor, of course, you can subtract it from that. But you also see several bolts strike Postoda, and she, falls down. Her armor, just is wood. But there must have been something metal on her that attracted it. But she it basically is stopped by her armor, which immediately is like burnt to a crisp and starting to char and break away from her. And you can just hear her you can hear her kind of cussing, but it doesn't sound like she's seriously injured.
Okay. I get a block of data on Behemoth.
Excellent. So yeah, you realize this lightning doesn't follow regular rules. It is absolutely lasting farther than it should. It is acting with a strange kind of intelligence. That being said, we're going to jump over to our other group. But Bubble Trouble and I'm going to get this right this time.
Just say res.
Rez? Okay. I'm gonna go with
Say
res.
res. It's easier.
Res. Okay, thank you. So Bubble Trouble and res. Tina eventually says, "I got it. That guy over there knows that there's a tinker on campus. He's working out of the chemistry building," and he kind of points off into the distance. Over there, he knows that he's been worried. He tried to tell the authorities once, but then the tinker started blackmailing him.
So we're all floating around in the same bubble, yeah?
Yeah, all of you together.
That means bubble changes the direction of the bubble?
Sure. You're gonna head over
Just
towards the chem building.
off towards the chemistry building. Yeah.
Sounds good. Awesome. So yeah, it doesn't take you long to get there. Do you let the other group know at all, or are you kind of focusing on this? You can kind of see the lightning playing over where they are, but it's starting to fizzle out and continue on in various other paths.
Bubble's gonna we have a radio or something we can talk to each other with?
Yeah, you all have I assume like a personal comm or personal
Tinkers
radio
in
of
the
some kind.
team.
Yeah,
Fair to assume we
you
have
could also say
radios.
or a group chat on your phones, whatever works. Go ahead and send a group me. Hey, found out where the sinkers.
Yeah, I'm just mystery building has the team.
I'm gonna respond. Should we add there? We got attacked by lightning bolt.
I think Solder reads the text. She just turns to you and she's like, "Of course we're."
All right. So
Bubble hears the thing about the lightning and gives you a moment to talk, and then she's like, "Is everyone okay? No one's too seriously hurt, right?"
Um,
I'm gonna do a quick head count. Is anyone dead?
Nobody is dead. It looks like the worst of the damage is that Solder and Pistoda have suffered some damage to their armor and their equipment, but other than that, not really.
We're mostly fine.
Bubble gives a little sigh. Okay, in that case, please hurry over to the chemistry building. We're already on our way there. We'll start searching, and hopefully, we'll find it before you all get here.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. I'll lead the way to the chemistry building.
All right, awesome. So we're going to say you all show up roughly around the same time because the chemistry building has basically been carved in half. There were fires clearly burning here, and the thing is now, basically cut in half. So you can see kind of the guts in the interior of it and, floors falling apart. You can see entryways and stairwells that have kind of been destroyed. It's going to take a little bit to navigate, safely because so much of it has kind of been gutted and looked through. So I'm kind of curious, for people who are going inside, and I'm going to be upfront with you with basically saying that these other capes with you, you're free to give them commands and order them around to some degree. Obviously they'll have opinions of their own if you give them particularly weird commands or egregious ones, but there's no problem with asking them to do stuff. They are basically part of your squad now, so think of them definitely as squad members. But yeah, I'm kind of curious, how are you looking for the tech, and then what are you doing to safely navigate the building?
Maybe
How many floors does this building have?
It has 4 floors, and there's a large section on top that looks like it's the fume where the fume hoods lead up to disperse chemicals.
Well, of course, again, that trinket's useful. I'd spam my shut-off trinket as we move forward.
Sure thing. That sounds great.
Yeah, if there's any...
I had a similar thought. For my damage reduction effect, would that include, say, if we fell or if something fell on us, or would that not be included?
It would help if something fell on you, but it wouldn't help
I
if
have
you were
something for
falling.
that too.
Like, yeah, it would definitely help, like, if
Okay,
there
that
were,
makes sense.
if things were collapsing on you, but it wouldn't help, like, if the floor gave way on you. You're still physical enough to hit the ground and suffer damage, but that would definitely be a bonus.
Okay, so I'm gonna let people know. Okay, so I'm gonna be activating my power. If you need to do any form of damage to something, let me know, and I can grant you immunity. But if anything falls on us, it should be less effective. It'll still hurt, but it won't do as much damage. And hopefully, we'll be able to find this and get out of here quickly.
Bubbles like, or yeah, you can go first.
Sauter's like, I need immunity. I need to deal damage to things. It's how the power works. Because her demon glove, basically, she has to attack things to get more charges on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he'll touch you and grant you immunity.
Yeah,
And
it's no problem to
how
grant
large?
most people immunity. So yeah,
Okay, yeah.
it's a pretty big building, so you'd probably need a few rounds of just straight singing to cover the whole thing. But you could use it. You could try to time it to certain areas and like walk forward, scout an area out, and then place it down if you think it's dangerous. That's something that you could do. It just take a little bit more time.
Yeah, I was gonna tell Gusanitsa to like send all of her little swarm around and see, any signs of Tinker Tech. Because I'm imagining the swarm is a little bit more expendable than us.
She kind of says, "Yeah, I really wouldn't want to lose any of them too fast, though. It takes me time to make them again."
Okay, well, maybe send a couple then, just to the upper floors while we look at the lower floors.
Bubbles like, actually,
He nods.
I was going to check the upper floors first while you all dealt with the first few. Since I can just float up there anyways.
Oh, okay.
Sounds
That could be
good.
helpful.
Is there a basement at all?
You can't tell from here, but once you get inside, you can start checking. That being
Okay.
said, that's good. So you all start, looking around inside. I want you all to give me wits rolls, and I'm gonna roll some wits for your fellow allies here, really quick.
Does awareness apply?
Yes, awareness absolutely applies, as does investigate.
All right, so once we go inside, I want to activate my power.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I'm going to activate it with damage and perception.
Sounds good.
So incoming damage is weakened, and I get 2 dice per turn to use on rolls. So yeah, so I'm going to use one of the dice right now for this.
Excellent. Okay, so
Look at Smiley handing out 5s.
yeah, that's all good. So let's see here. Looks like Bubble, Ivan.
For the perception effect for my little stage, is that an extra die or an extra add a die? Which one is it?
That is a good question. Let me double check what we say here. So for the perception, when the state has a pool of 2 dice he can spend to increase any roll he makes. These refresh each round. So yeah, so that's 1 additional die. So that's like roll 2, pick the highest, and you can use them on any of your rolls. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, perfect.
And so, as he's activating his power, he sings a little song from a musical about basically being betrayed by a jilted ex-lover.
Excellent. So yeah, so Bubble, Bubble and Ivanushka are, kind of the ones that first, kind of stumble on it. Basically as you're both kind of there on the 3rd floor, Bubble's kind of been working her way down, and Ivan's been going up. You eventually come to what's this? you eventually come on to these rooms, and you kind of see that there are some strange objects kind of lying on tables and in the fume hoods of the room. And going over, Ivan, you're immediately like, this is Tinker Tech. This stuff looks pretty simple. Like it's literally just a stack of metal cylinders, most of them kind of about the size of paint buckets in various ways, and covered in kind of some interesting designs. But glancing over it, you're immediately like, this is Tinker Tech, 100%.
I'm gonna ask, what are we supposed to do once we found them?
You're contacting Priom.
Yeah.
Priom says, Keraton was threatening us frequently if we tried to come after and recruit him, that he had a major weapon that he could use against us. We want you to take this close to the monster and use it against him.
Lovely. I'll say before hanging up and doing my best to gather the stuff. The grabbing the stuff.
Yeah, totally. So, let's think here. Who exactly? I'm trying to think exactly who's in the building here. Because as you start, moving this stuff, most of you are kind of starting to congregate here on the third floor. A few people have stayed outside. Zovosta and Czar have kind of remained outside to kind of watch things and make sure that the police don't show up, or people will start coming in. I want everyone to make a wits roll. Just go ahead and make some wits rolls for me. Or awareness. Awareness works here too. Anything that helps you see. Let's see. Okay, good. All right, good. So it looks like solder and okay, so it looks like solder, Doth, and so okay, so you actually all did pretty well. So yeah, it isn't so yeah, as you're kind of gathering up this Tinker Tech, and those tinkers of you think that this is probably pretty durable stuff. It's not going to be a huge issue. You're all able to, you all hear suddenly this sound that immediately makes your head start ringing, and you're able to see outside of the windows a little bit. You see that there is basically, like dominoes, house after house after house is being destroyed, heading kind of in the general direction of the university. It's just you can't really see what's doing it, but it kind of looks like just this. It's almost as if like a bowling ball is running over buildings, heading slowly towards this area, and you think you probably have a very short amount of time, which is gonna before it's gonna hit you.
Bubbles, so do we want to all head to the roof and float out of here? Or do we want to warn the people to run away?
There's no one in the building, just also, but there are those people on the ground, those allies you had, and you have the rest of the team with you here.
I have my teleporter.
Let's get to
just in case. I think you should make a bubble. Put the teleporter in it. Yeet it as far as you can. We go to base, then we go to the bubble. Sounds good?
I'm not sure how much time we have for that. I have a question, actually. How many... Have I been using my power long enough to get a third effect?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So, touching the people around me so that I'm refreshing their immunity, I'm also going to activate the sound and light effect to reduce sound in the area.
Sounds good.
I could use
I'm gonna go ahead and say really quick. You have 2 rounds, so let's start going into actions really quick. So let's start at the top of our thing here, and yeah, let's start at the top here. Bubble Trouble, what are you doing?
We're on the 3rd floor, right?
You absolutely are.
Is there a window nearby?
Yeah, there's also an entire, side of the room that has been destroyed and just leads straight out into the open. Not a pretty jump, but you know.
Bubble jumps out and then she bubbles herself as she falls, so it takes the damage.
Sure thing. So you're going straight to the bottom there. Okay, sounds good.
Right out the window, right.
Yeah, okay, and then just straight down to the ground. Yeah, so that's probably gonna. So I imagine that takes up your full turn, doing that.
Yeah, that's committed
and then the floating down. Okay. Ivanushka, what about you? What are you doing?
How far away are our soldiers?
You're like the Russian soldiers or like your allies?
The people, the cape that are helping us.
So there are Gusenitas is in the room. So is Postoda and Tina Duet. Czar and Sobest have remained on the ground.
Those can probably run away, but if they can't, well, fuck. I'm gonna drop down a teleporter.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I'm using my partial action. How tough are they? Could they survive being in the vicinity of Behemoth?
Sorry, say that again really quick. Could they survive being in the vicinity of this effect?
Yeah.
You see, it's destroying buildings pretty easily. Like buildings are just completely collapsing in its way.
I'm gonna. Would the teleporter break?
Oh yes, the teleporter would. You think that?
No,
yeah.
If I were to yeet them from the top of the building to the.
Oh, I see. Probably not, but there's a slight chance. 1 in 6 chance it breaks.
I suppose.
You could have handed me the teleporter, and I could jump down.
Yeah, that's better than nothing. I'm gonna drop down a teleporter where we are. I'm gonna use my committed action to yeet the other one.
Sounds good. Give me a roll to see if it's too damaged. Just don't roll a 1.
Whew.
There we go. Excellent. So you're able to do that. So the teleporter, gets on up. So that's your partial and your committed for the round. So it is now Rez's turn. Rez, you have a portal that you could technically use, or you could find some other way of getting out of here if you wanted.
Well, I'm assuming we're all going to make our way through that portal, so I think after turning on the sound and light effect, just in case this is a sound-based attack, hopefully dampening it a bit, I'm going to go through the portal and sort of just hope that we're far enough away.
Yeah. Sure, you're able to totally do that. So I'm going to need you to give me... So you have kind of traveled a massive distance from your stage. So go ahead and give me a guts roll, even though you're probably, using some other sort of... using a partial action, right? Because the distance is going to make it a little bit harder than normal to keep stable. But just go ahead and give me a guts roll real quick.
Okay, could I instead end the effect before I go through and then reactivate it on the other side with just 2?
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, you can end it and then go through and activate it again. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, so I'll end it and then go through. Does ending it doesn't take an action, does it?
No, I'm going to say that's a free action. That sounds like
okay. So I'll end it go through, and then I'm going to reactivate it with damage and sound and light activated.
Sounds good. Solder, what do you want to do?
Well, boss, I think the best course of action is to go through the teleporter and not get yeeted by Behemoth. So I'm gonna do that.
Sure thing. You're able to go on through it.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna grab the vitriol off of Rezhizser's back, and I'm gonna my plan is if Behemoth gets nearby, I'm gonna use it next turn to try to get another
Sure.
thing on Behemoth.
Sounds good. So you're able to do that, no problem. So the others, Tina, jumps through on their turn, and so does Pustoda and Gusanitas on theirs. And then it's back to the top. Bubble, you're still pretty close to the building, so you probably think maybe getting a little bit of distance would help. Yeah, but you can see Sovest and Czar are kind of moving off, and definitely clearing the way for this kind of shockwave. It looks like you can kind of tell now, and you can hear this kind of thrumming in your eardrums that it sounds very, very much sort of like a sonic boom of sorts, like the kind you hear when planes fly overhead, but it just keeps going.
Now that I've hit the ground, the two people we left outside, they're still standing there or leaving?
They're running for cover. Yeah, they are moving quickly. You can also see this you can see Sovest's black and white minion is incredibly fast. Like the thing basically teleports almost 100 feet, away from the building as soon as Sovest starts running.
I'm sorry, that might not have been clear. When I said I yeet the
the other side of the portal. Hold on, I think I've my audio is messed up here. Yeah. All right, sorry about that. I cut out there for a second. So you threw it out the window, yeah. You're able to throw that out the window, and then I imagine. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Then for my turn, is it my turn now? Or
well, I just am seeing if Doth's getting out of the way real quick.
Then.
Yeah.
If people are running, I'm just going to bubble myself and just 50 feet away, straight away from the building. Towards, if there are people still standing here, towards them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, I say, probably.
Because that crowd of normal people.
Oh,
if there's still
none
a few
of them
there.
are around. Yeah, there's none of those around.
None of them are. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no one else seems to be in the mist. This building was the fires were put out pretty early on, and so that's not really an issue now.
Cool. Yeah, just if there's no one there, just 50 feet away from the building. If
Totally.
The building's explosion is that bad, the bubble will take the brunt of it.
Good plan. All right, so Ivanushka, you yeeted the portal away, and I imagine you're kind of. It sounds like you were planning on setting one up now back at the base so that you could kind of get away from there.
I'm gonna draw the picture. So I was at the building. I placed a portal down so we could go back to base. I yeeted one down the window so the boys that were still on the ground could take it. Now I'm gonna use the lockdown thing with my whip near us to make the general location harder. So maybe it will take more time for Behemoth. It will maybe slow Behemoth a bit.
So the inside of your base or the other side of the portal?
The other side.
Okay. Sure, that makes sense. So you're using your lockdown to sort of minimize that effect, correct?
Yeah, to make everything tougher, maybe, so it doesn't go through it like butter.
Well, right. Less. Okay. I see. Thank you. Okay, no, that makes sense. All right, yeah, you're able to do that, no problem. Yeah, you're able to throw that,
Then I'm gonna
width
run.
area to do that, and then you're gonna okay, and then you go through the
Yeah,
portal. Perfect.
tinkers are hard.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of moving parts there, and I see the combo you were looking for there. So Rez, you and Solder are both in the base with the others, and you see your allies are kind of looking around a little bit. What are you doing there? Anything? Ivanushka comes through.
Well, I feel like it would be a good idea to just sort of wait for the effect to have passed before we go back, because we do want to get back there and keep helping out, but we need to be out of the way here. So I think mostly we're just waiting for a little bit.
Sure. So, yeah, and you can see the effect hit the building through the portal, kind of. It has that kind of portal quality to it where you can kind of see a little bit through. And you see the
Wait.
whole. Oh, sorry.
If we can see through, does that mean the computer can do its thing?
Yeah, CPU.
Yeah.
Yes, probably. Which thing? The bit where it scans Behemoth.
Yep.
Um, he's a good distance away through the portal, through a window across town. I'm gonna say that that's probably just a little too much of a barrier, and I'm not sure if the portal's actually facing him right now, right? It might be, but it's still kind of a lot of barriers there.
Okay, yeah, that's too much. Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. That being said, it's all of this sort of, you see the whole building shake. Definitely it shakes a lot less than the other buildings, but you can see elements of it start to crack and crumble, especially the ones that were already kind of not very stable beforehand. But actually, the building kind of stays up a little bit better than you would have expected because of the lockdown trinket. Um, and eventually it passes though and kind of fizzles out. You can kind of sense from the sound of it, and the sonic boom kind of goes past. So eventually the danger kind of passes and you're all able to get back to the university if you want. If there's anything you want to do in your base while you're there, you're free to it. But let me know. Otherwise, I'll assume you can all head back and get on your way.
Are my two teleporters intact?
Yes, they miraculously are both intact.
Once everyone makes their way through, I'm gonna make sure to grab them.
Of course, yeah. All right, so you're all able to get back with your reassemble your group kind of in the area of Moscow University, and you've kind of gotten this tip from you've kind of gotten this from the leadership over at Red Gauntlet from Prim, that they want you to go take this Tinker Tech to Behemoth and mess up his day with it. So what is your plan for doing that? I will go ahead. I'm going to quickly modify the map to show you where Behemoth is at right now. You're able to kind of, check online, check the radio and that sort of thing and get a sense. He's actually moved, he's actually moved quite a long distance here. He's actually starting to head, around the bank of the Moskva River, and he's kind of heading, through this area here. He's actually making a beeline for this train station over here where the military is planning sort of a defense. The unfortunate bit is that the train yard is basically filled with people at this very busy time of day, so it's not good. But Behemoth's kind of around this area. You can hear he's moving through this neighborhood basically on his way heading over here.
Just waiting to see the update on that because the Twitch stream is like super delayed.
Sure. Does the mouse? Do you see? Can you see where my mouse is?
If you refresh, it can catch up a bit.
It should refresh automatically.
Oh, okay. I think.
Let me try. Oh, yeah. This is the word. This is always the annoying bit. Okay.
Oh, there we go. It's refreshed on my end. We're good. And Behemoth is by the docks somewhere. Guess you're by the train yard.
Yeah, kind of by the, you can kind of see the train yard there. Unfortunately, one of the weird things about the Google Maps is and OBS is I can't actually show you a lot of this stuff, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, he's kind of over there by those train yards. Oh, now it's catching up. I see. Yeah, it really was slow. Yeah, kind of in that general area. You see where the screen is at now, and I can zoom out if that helps to give you a sense of like
Yeah.
where. Okay,
I know exactly where we're coming from right now.
right. No
I
worries.
have the feeling that getting so we need to get real. Can you shoot through your bubble? Like I know there are force field. Like you can't be attacked inside, but can you attack through them?
You can't attack through the bubbles. Your attack would pop the bubble, which would just cancel the attack, basically.
Ah, yikes.
But I can drop it at any moment if you needed to. If you were holding me tight enough and we were high enough,
So
I could stop us from dying from the fall too.
is the attack with the weird tinker tech something a person alone could manage? Like, are they small enough that a single person could?
Figuring out what it does is probably going to be part of this objective. So you're not only going to need to figure out kind of how to use the Tinker Tech and make it work, but you're also going to have to get probably within range. You get the sense though that just looking at it, it might not have the greatest range. You might got to get within maybe half a mile or even closer to really get it used at its full potential, you think?
That's a long fucking range.
Yeah, half a mile. I'll take that over not half a mile.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say like 50 feet.
No, you think that to be honest, you think you could probably even be on the other side of the river there, kind of that the internal thumb-looking area, and shoot across at him if you wanted to, really. You'd probably have to be on the bank of
All right.
the river there, but, if you're really
All
interested
right.
in that
So
in maximizing your distance and the barricades, that's a potential option.
And these are canisters or some sort of.
Yeah, there are a
What is
series of canisters. There's about a dozen of them in total. They're not very heavy though. They're kind of just, there's nothing like inside of them. Most of them are like hollow and through and through. A few of them have bottoms or tops or such, but that's kind of it. They're they're pretty easy to disguise. Like they were kind of just here in the lab, so that's kind of an indication.
So who's going to carry those? Because I don't imagine everyone's running around with like a backpack. Just posterity. Bubble has a duffel bag she carries around.
Right. Well, they would probably
convenient.
they'd probably pretty easily fit in your van if you wanted.
Yeah. Let's up on a van. Try to drive like within a mile of Behemoth before getting closer, and during the drive we can try and check the stuff.
This is another thing, but I would appreciate like a screenshot or something of the map because I can't actually use Twitch. It doesn't.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see then what I can get you real quick, because yeah, that is definitely a problem. Let me go. Give me a second here, and I can get you some stuff that will help out. So. That's not really the best way to go about this. Ugh, sometimes. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, we'll do that. Turn off this. Oh my god, yeah, that's not actually a good way to do this. Okay, I'm gonna work on that really quick then. So, thank you for your patience on all this. This is it's not the most ideal way to do things, but I have an idea. Yeah, honestly, OBS is really unfriendly to Google in general. I'll just say that, which is kind of an issue.
So while this is being figured out, we should think of what we're doing in the. So the Tinker should definitely be looking over the Tinker Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, which do we think would be more helpful if I were to muffle the sound of the van's approach to maybe try not to be murdered by Behemoth, or if I gave myself an extra die to help look over the Tinker Tech and try to figure out what in the world it is?
We've got 2 Tinkers. I think we're gonna be fine on that. I think
Yeah.
that we don't die.
Yeah.
Like, one of them is don't die, and we eventually figure it out, and the other one is maybe we die, maybe we figure it out, and I'm one of those lets us keep playing as these characters. One doesn't.
Yeah, the other thing is, so I probably should have prefaced this at any point. Like, your victory is failing an objective doesn't necessarily mean you lose. So like as you go through and objectives get harder and harder and things keep going on and on, if at any point, yeah, things seem just super dangerous or that level, it's perfectly fine to give up on an objective and kind of move on to the next thing and the next level. Basically, there's certain objectives that are kind of critical, and I think you'll know which ones those are. And you're kind of trying to win more than lose, but there's definitely sort of a flexibility to stuff too, right? Sometimes it will be easier and honestly more effective in the long run to cut your losses and not go on the suicide mission, right?
Mhm.
But you'll get a sense of that when you see how well you're doing on certain things, right? So yeah, just food for thought. I should have prefaced that at the beginning. I sent you a picture. I hope that helps. If not, I can send more. I'm kind of trying to move over the right details without spoiling the other plans, So yeah.
Okay, well, as the van moves along, Rez is going to keep refreshing his power with the damage and sound and light effect, so we'll take less damage and we'll make less noise.
Sounds good. And so, basically my question is, are you planning to follow directly behind the trail that Behemoth has kind of gone through? Or are you planning to kind of try to go a different direction that might be, or are you trying to go a different direction? You kind of like, are you going to, like, you're kind of right here at the Moscow University and let's see if there's a better way to do this. I guess I'll just delete this.
I think we wouldn't be directly going in its track because the world probably isn't in the best of states at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Shockwave ripping through town.
Yeah, like Molten, Alf Spicy. Not the best way to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking that even though it may be a bit shorter, I don't think we're in a particular rush with this. So we can backtrack a bit to cross the river and have the river between us.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And yeah, you aren't in a huge rush, but you definitely don't want to fall too behind because it definitely looks like Behemoth is heading towards a larger civilian center and firing and using the weapon then will obviously be more difficult than if you do it before he gets there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, well, keep that in mind as your sort of light ticking clock. So, yeah, that being said, though, I am going to try to maneuver the map a little bit so we can keep track of our lovely progress here. Where, you all. I might activate this a little bit here. So, we're following along here, and you're driving along these roads, and eventually you're turning to cross the bridge, cross the river, and kind of get into the peninsula there. And along the way, it takes you through these sort of greeneries that make up the Moscow University campus. However, a lot of these have, caught on fire. And while the fire department is doing their best to mitigate those, you find that the fastest road to the bridge is through basically this area that is still very heavily under fire. The roads aren't blocked off because, there's firefighters, working on other areas, but you can see very, clearly that, you're basically gonna have to drive through a road that there's a flaming forest on both sides if you want to take the quickest route to get onto the peninsula.
I mean, like, is the road mostly not molten?
The road is not molten. It is just surrounded by flaming trees, and there's lots of smoke. You'd have to give me some drive rolls to get through, and I'm probably going to need some guts rolls to avoid smoke inhalation causing too much damage.
Is
But
there some? Do you have something to stop smoke?
I don't know. What do you? Some of you have protection against
I'm
smoke and whatnot. Some of you are
I
a little bit less protected, but if you think of anything
I
creative, I
mean,
am open to it.
well, I'm thinking that as we go through, in order to keep the fire from, to hopefully at least minimize the fire, if not make it go down a little bit, I can touch everyone in the van to give them immunity and start to thin the air around the van. Hopefully, try to weaken the fires and keep it from spreading.
otherwise, I could.
So we're about to drive through a bunch of like fiery area, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How far across is a van?
Like, how wide is
Maybe,
the van? I mean, the
maybe like
van's.
more than 5 feet, maybe like 10 feet.
Yeah, it's for carrying around a lot of your tinker tech and, of course, stolen goods or, what have you. So you might be able to bubble it. But to be honest,
I
it's probably a
I
little.
can't bubble the van, but definitely if we're all inside the van, I can bubble the inside and we'll all be sitting in a bubble of fresh air where the smoke can't come in. Um
And I
Would
a
can
little bit
can
that
give
floaty and
my
tight, but
I can
wouldn't
pass
the
my gas
driver not be
mask
able
to the
to drive?
driver.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use the bubble to filter some of the air. You can use the gas mask to do that. That all
So
sounds good. Was there anything else?
Bubble
so
Prim, do you
like
to have
for so like
to
all
keep
of us are in the bubble except for a driver, which I'll give my gas mask to. Sounds good?
Sure. Now you also
He's
have your
driving.
allies driving along behind you. Sorvest and most of them are in their own van that they have, but Czar has a motorcycle.
Love it.
who has a motorcycle?
Czar, the explosion striker, as he refers to his power.
I should be able to bubble the whole motorcycle
How many bubbles
if
can you
we
make
like
at
stopped.
once?
I can have all of them. I don't necessarily have a limit. They're easy to produce. They last until they're broken or I choose to dismiss them.
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take off the demon glove and give it to you and be like, if something fiery falls on us, press this button. Like point to like a button that's in the middle of like 20 other buttons. Basically gonna explaining how to use the demon glove to stop fires.
your speed. I mean, imagine you're using Tinker's speak and like getting very mad that he doesn't understand that you only need to press buttons in that 10 button order for it to work.
I think this is like the one button she's made simple. 'Cause she's like, even an idiot can put out a fire. Just like this one button does the thing. And like it's 5 buttons that she's pointing at.
Nice. So so we're bubbling, pretty much everyone we can to try to get them through and give them that protection from the smoke. We're going with the gas mask to your own driver. So you're all probably going to be pretty good from this. So
Do we want to like just park before we hit the fires?
yeah, no, you're able to do all
Before
that.
we go through and stuff?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're parking, getting all this sorted out before you go through.
Because in that case, yeah, I can step out the truck, bubble the people in it, bubble the people in the other truck that aren't like driving, and then get on the bubble with the motorcycle and bubble both of us.
Sounds good.
Because then I can just direct the bubble.
Okay. Well, that works great. So then in that case,
whereas the bubbles inside the trucks get pulled by the trucks.
Okay. All right. So that case, that's going to be a pretty big bonus there. So here's what. So the drivers are going to be the main. So the drivers are mainly going to be the ones who are going to need a little bit to make the harder rolls. Everybody else is going to have a pretty easy time of this. But the drivers are a little bit less bubbled, so we'll roll for them. I imagine Sorvest is driving because, of course, he is. So he's fine. Who's driving your van?
Well, the 2 Tinkers are working on the problem, so it's probably going to be Rez, right?
I guess that would be the case. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So and you have a gas mask, so you're fine. So instead, the gas mask actually is going to be pretty good. There's a slight issue with the bubbles are mostly situated, so I'm going to need everyone who's in the bubble to just make a guts roll with +2 on it. The bubble's going to filter out most stuff, but there's a chance a little bit might get in, but I honestly think you're going to be pretty fine. So go ahead and give me that roll, and I'm going to roll for the others. I think they'll be fine too, though. Yeah, they're fine. Oh, wait, did I disconnect? I'm a nap. All right, how's that? Sorry about that.
That's A-okay.
Yep, make some guts rolls with the +2 modifier, and you will be right as rain. Or we'll see if you're right as rain. Okay, any problems? Okay, yeah, everyone's
I don't think I've done it yet.
yes, I didn't give you. Sorry, I didn't give you a difficulty. Yeah, you're fine. It was a 4+, so you're all good. Or wait, yeah, give me that one more, and then we'll be fine. Or no, you have the gas mask. So if you have the gas mask on, you're just good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about all that. Yeah, so you're able to drive through, and then so the drivers give me Rez, you're driving, so give me a. We don't have drive anymore as a skill, so just give me a dex roll then. Difficulty 2+. If you can even fail that.
Could wits apply to?
Wits, yeah. Totally.
Right,
I'm
perfect.
thinking with Dex.
Calculated.
Perfect. Nice. So yeah, you're able to drive through. There's occasional there's a tree at one point that falls down. Flaming debris scatter all over the place, but you're able to swerve around it without issue. And yeah, you're able to keep on chugging. The others, they also are able to keep pace. And you can see kind of as you come out of this cloud of smoke that your car is very much coated in uh, coated in soot and little embers here and there. And you do that and you start moving forward a little bit. You're driving past the stadium here, and you go over the river. You can see that crowds are gathering outside the stadium and moving, trying to get into their cars, and there's kind of a traffic jam up there. You can also see though that the main so there's two kind of ways forward here. There's the main way is, up onto an overpass that'll take you to an over street that'll actually be faster. But you can see that the overpass is cracked, and there's a very sizable, bit where you would either have to get some serious momentum to jump it, or you would have to get out and try to climb up and then find new transportation on top to continue on. But you also see that there's the lower road here. You see the third ring, as it is in the Moscow lingo, that you could get onto that is on the ground, and you could keep going with the car there, no issue. But it is going to take a little bit longer, from knowing this area a little bit. So I'm curious which avenue you want to take. And give me 1 second. I'm going to grab one quick thing.
Quick, jump it!
Oh yeah, we're gonna fucking jump it.
Oh,
Yeah.
If everyone else falls and dies, at the very least, Bubble and Motorcycle Guy will be all right.
Wait a minute. We could get out and then we try to jump it, right? Because then we could bubble over.
But then we don't
Yeah,
have a car.
only the drivers need to risk their lives. Oh no. If Bubble could try driving it over, because push come to shove, she can jump out, and the bubble will save her from any falls.
but at that point we'll be losing so much time that we might as well take the low road.
Okay.
I
yeah,
mean,
maybe
it depends on how big the
idea.
gap is, because
I can just use my power and move the car, from one side to the other using my whip. It's a strong whip. Then I can just use a grappling hook to get to the other side.
activate strong powers.
strong.
Yes.
Wait, your whip literally just takes us
Okay.
over, no roll.
Okay, sorry, had to grab a glass of water. Okay, so
I have a
any
question.
question? Yes.
With my whip, could
Yes.
it grab the car and move it?
I think so. So I would say if you're willing to spend the augment itself, like if you're willing to lose the augment, because you basically need all of the ropes to secure the thing and then move it up. And you don't think it would last, but you could definitely move the car up without any issue if you're willing to kind of spend the ropes and the grappling bits and all of that to get it up. Right when I try to say anything important, I immediately Why is this? Excellent. All right. Okay. Sorry about all that. Discord really ain't liking me today. So, what were y'all saying?
Yeah, the part I sent in the Weaverdice chat.
Yeah, I
chat.
see.
That's the part. That's not from the grappling hook.
Oh, I see. Can whip with the. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. That part. That part's probably not. I'm probably thinking that's not. Well, actually, I'd say yes, but there's a chance it won't work. So I'm going to give it like 50-50 chance it works. Is what I'm going to
And
say for
if
something
it
like that.
doesn't work, what happens?
I'd say so. What it's going to be is it's going to be a 4+ roll. If you roll a 3 or a 2, there's no significant damage to the car. If you roll a 1, the car is going to get.
If we are talking about damage, I can just activate the lockdown.
That is true. You could activate the lockdown, and then there would be no risk. But
Alright.
you'd still need a 4+ to actually get it up and make sure the strength is enough to lift it properly.
All right. What's that?
So
yeah, so you'll basically just roll a dice and get a 4+.
All right.
To see if it stays.
So
I'm
this
gonna.
is for one of the vehicles. If we wanted to just drive the other one across, just jump it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Czar seems perfectly fine to jump his motorcycle. He has no problem doing that.
That makes me think.
Motorcycle, I can just float over safely with no risk.
I
Scowls
forgot
but
to roll
nods.
the thing
Sorry.
for my costume.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Say that again.
So could I use the spare d6 now?
You want to use the automatic? Sorry. I think we were all talking at the same time. Ivanushka, what were you saying? That you wanted to for each trinket deployed, roll a d6 and hold on to the result. The cape can substitute any roll. Yeah, that sounds like it'll work there. If you're because you're deploying the lockdown, so that would count there. So yeah, roll a d6 and we'll see if it's usable.
Oh, that's 6 then. I guess that wouldn't work.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm gonna use the guaranteed 6 to move it across.
Sounds good. So yeah, you're totally able to use that. So yeah, it just works. You're able to get it up there. So yeah, you're able to use that, and it takes a bit, but you're able to ease it up.
Trucker car. We had a second trucker car, right?
Yeah, Sovest and the other capes are in the other van, and they're coming with they're coming with you.
Because it's taking a little while to do the whip thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yes, and yeah, it's taking a little bit, and there is a risk. So the question is, like, yeah, do you want to try something else with the other? It sounds like you want to bubble the motorcycle and float that across. That's not a problem at all. But was there a plan for the other van, or did you want to do the same thing and give it a shot to lift it up with the whip?
Quick, jump the van.
Jump the van. Jump the
Okay.
van.
That seems like a terrible fucking idea.
You're gonna tell Sovest to try to jump the van?
I could try driving it across.
He doesn't.
I'm decent dex.
Sure thing. He says, "All right, your funeral." And he, basically, gets in the back and lets you go ahead. Give me a dex roll. You're looking to try to beat a 4+.
I'm going to bubble all the people in the back while it's like closing while they're there.
It's like a second airbag.
Yeah. Because push come to shove, I can just bubble myself on the way down, but I can't handle them a second before we hit the ground.
Sounds good.
So what roll?
Give me a dex or what dex is probably the best roll. Let me see here. I gotta jump.
A 4.
Yeah, so you just barely make it. You jump over and you can literally feel the wheels skidding there on like the back edge and the lip, and then they just shoot forward just that little extra bit, and you're safe. Nice. And
See, I told you we could make it across.
Absolutely. So you're totally able to do that, in fact. And as you kind of get up there, you're back on this overpass and you're driving across now. You all kind of have made it, and now you're going further along here, and you kind of get to this area where that's across from the kind of across from the stadium. This is the local sports stadium for Moscow University, and you see that the streets are just jam packed with people that are trying to run across these 6-lane highways, trying to get out of the way, trying to get to their cars. You can hear in the distance the explosions from the battlefield. You can hear flames so loud, they're over a mile away that you can still hear them crackle and pop, and you can just see the fear in these people's eyes. But they are all trying to cross the road here, and you are not the only people that are kind of stopped here. There's about probably three, there's probably like all the lanes are filled up, and there's probably about 3 cars ahead of you that are honking and blaring on the horn, and people getting out and shouting at these people to move out of the way of the street. What do you do?
I feel like this is a time for Demon Glove. I'm just gonna send out some I'm gonna yell at some people like, "Fucking move!" Hold out the hand and see if I can intimidate them to move out of the way. And
Fantastic.
I'm just gonna start cards with a Demon Glove.
All right, go ahead and give me a social roll, and get a bonus, and roll 2. Do you have intimidate?
I don't.
That's fair. So I'm gonna say roll 2 dice and pick the highest with your social. To see it. I mean, you have the bonus basically from the Demon Glove is basically giving you a pip in intimidation for this. So go ahead and roll that to see, how well you're able to scare these people into getting out of the way. They are running from their lives from a giant monster that is bulldozing their city. I have no idea what's going on here, but it is not okay. There it goes. There it goes. Oop. There it goes. Sorry. So yeah, how'd it go?
Hang on. So I'm taking 2d6. Roll the highest. Take the highest.
With social, yeah, go for it.
All right, with my social, that's fine. Can I take my 6th there?
Sure. Yeah, you can do that.
Can I do I want to? Actually, no, I'm not going to take my 6th. It's much more fun failing here. Because I think I still start shooting regardless of the fail.
You do start shooting. All right, so let's see what this does. Okay, all right, so that's at least sort of good. So Solder, that's what you're doing. What about other people? What are your other plans here? Because these people seem, they're panicking even more now, and you can see them, some of them are, diving behind cars and staying in the road trying to do that. You see cars trying to move forward, and then they immediately kind of bump into people and stop and start swearing. The whole thing is kind of descending into chaos even more so now.
I'm gonna try and keep figuring out what that Tinker Tech does.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, go ahead. Solder, give me 1 roll on knowledge, and Ivanushka, give me 2 rolls on knowledge, and we'll see how well you're able to understand this Tinker Tech. Nice.
Knowledge.
Okay, good. And are those the 2 rolls, or is that just the first?
Oh, that's the 2 rolls.
The 2 rolls. So it's a 3 and a 4, so that's going to be a 5 and a 4. Okay.
4.
Bingo. Okay, so that's okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So you're able to drive across. So yeah, you're able to do. So you're making headway. You get the sense that these things fit together. They're not like individual weapons. They actually combine together and do stuff. So that being said, you still have a giant crowd of people that is blocking your path. What are the rest? What are you doing now, Solder? You can basically try something again if you wanted. The bubble, you and Rez can both give something a shot if you wanted.
Okay, I'm going to read exactly what the Demon Glove can do.
Yeah. I'm thinking that I could take a shot to use presentation to get people to listen to me and get them to park so we can get through?
Sure thing.
I'll attempt to like help them out. Just stand behind and do my best to help with what they're saying.
Sounds good. You're just backing them up. Always good. So go ahead, Rez. Give me a presentation roll. You're looking to beat 5+ here because it would have been easier, but these people have kind of just been shot at by capes, and so they're not too keen on following them again. So go ahead and do that. And Bubble Trouble, you can roll as well. Some sort of social roll to try to get the same result. 5+.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me.
Yeah.
That's a 4.
So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you're not able to get it there, and it actually, eventually you just kind of have to wait till all these people go through and you're able to drive past. Like, basically this huge mob just continues on for several minutes, and you can see in the
It's a
distance
mob of
Behemoth
cars.
is. Sorry, what?
It's a mob of cars.
No, it's a mob of people trying to get out of this stadium.
No cars or anything like that.
There's cars here, but there's not as many of them. You can see up ahead there are cars actually, but you can. So basically, these people kind of delay you a little bit.
Okay.
These people delay you quite a bit, and you can see in the distance Behemoth is getting closer and closer to the area. You can see large shells being dropped on him, and him retaliating with searing white hot beams of light that just spear off into the distance, annihilating everything there. Go ahead. So basically, yeah, you move on. Eventually you're able to move on, but you quickly come to this intersection. You come to this intersection further up, and this is where you see the cars have kind of started piling up. Unfortunately, you drive along this route here, and you get to this mass intersection where cars are shifting along and trying to get off and on to the main highway so that they can really get out of the area, and it's just a complete clusterfuck. Moscow's roads are numerous, but they're not always the most well laid out, to say the least. Yeah. So by this time, Bubble, the time is probably about. Let's see. You woke up and you came here. It's probably getting to be about noon. It might be around 11:30 ish. That's a really good question. So yeah, you come to this massive pile up of cars, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. What are you thinking? What do you do?
How close is Behemoth at this point?
So he is. So I'm gonna give you all a picture really quick. Because that is a superbly excellent question. He's about maybe 7/10 of a mile away. He is close enough, but he's like, you would definitely feel like if you could take the street to your right and get closer onto the river, you think that by the time it takes you to do that, he will be much closer and probably within an ideal range, to be honest.
To use the weapon,
to use the weapon, kind of from what you're seeing of it. You get the sense that it is definitely sort of a single sort of shot weapon. You both can get that sense from it. It's a consumable of sorts. Here, I'm snipping the picture now. All don't know why it's taking so goddamn long to load, but that's all right. There it goes. So you're the blue dot there, and there's this big pile up there. If you take that road, and that's basically along the bank of the river, you think that Behemoth's heading, you can see him in the direction he's heading. He's heading closer towards the river, but up towards that section. So if you follow that, you think you'll be able to get to a much closer location. But yeah, that is the risk there. You could try to use it from here, but it's definitely at probably the maximum range you'd probably feel comfortable. It would definitely be a lot easier if you got closer.
Well, if we get close, we can get 2 shots off on him and maybe stun him or something.
If we get close, worst case scenario, we just do the good old teleport.
Oh yeah. Okay. So maybe the plan is get close. I get on top of the car with my bow. We get someone else to just activate the teleporter, and basically as soon as he gets close, we're all just gonna pile into the teleporter and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
After we get our shots off. But we need to get through these cars.
Yeah. You need to get through the cars and a little bit up the street there, you think.
How strong are the minions of how strong are the minions that we have access to?
So you kind of call back. So you're all able to meet up with them, and Tina's basically like, Tina Duet's like, this thing's tanky as all get out. I bet it could honestly get close enough to that thing without getting. I mean, it get cooked, but it's gonna heal pretty well. Sovest is like, this thing moves fast enough that it could probably get close enough to him and deal damage, but it explodes and then I have to rebuild it. It's almost instantaneous, but it blows up like a pretty sizable grenade.
And the cars, they move the cars that are in front of us blocking our access. That's all I need to know.
Sovest says, I can blow them up, but this thing doesn't really move stuff. It's not that smart. Gustanessa says, we can use this, and he opens up the back of the truck and shows you that there is what basically amounts to a caterpillar about the size of a motorcycle, like a big Harley, just in the back there, made of kind of gray geometric shapes, all kind of locking together. This thing can easily, move the cars out of the way, but it's pretty weak at this point. I could buff it up a little bit if you wanted to, and we could really get them out of the way, but it's gonna probably get some attention. And I'll lose my smaller minions. I can make this thing bigger, but I'll lose out on the utility of the smaller ones.
I think what we're just looking for here is we need to get in position, right? That's more important.
Is that silence a yeah, we agree, or a silence of maybe?
I think in my case it's a yeah, we agree sort of silence.
Yeah, we need to get in position for this.
Sure. Yeah, he nods, and Gustin nods and basically starts calling more of the smaller minions. You can see he has about 4 of these orangey swarms of geometric shapes, and they start compiling together and fusing with the caterpillar until it can't stay in the van anymore, and it becomes basically as big as the van. And he starts guiding it out, and it just starts going through the cars and like knocking them over. It's not like a super violent knockover, and like people inside are kind of just jostled a little bit, but they and shouldering them out of the way here and there. But it is very clearly making a path for you slowly but surely as it does that. And Gisantina jumps in your car so that he can guide it easier. He says he kind of has to give them commands, and he starts going along, and slowly a path starts to form. You can see angry people are starting to get upset though and throw things at the van and all of you. It's not easy going, to say the least. But eventually, yeah, you're able to clear the traffic jam without much issue. Yeah.
Imagine you're in a traffic jam running against a big monster. Then there is a big ass caterpillar just manhandling your car.
Yeah. So you all continue along the road, and this road is much easier to get by. No one's going up this road because that's again you're heading towards Behemoth, not away from him, and very few people are doing that right now, to say the least. So you get up to an area though, and let me see here really quick. As you're driving up to, you know, as you're driving up the street here, there is a large fire kind of, on the side of the road. There's a little bit of greenery, some, casual forest trees that have all started to catch fire. And you see as you're driving by, you can see Behemoth now, he's uncomfortably close. His silhouette kind of, is there, shrouded in, ash and, smoke. And you can see, there's this, you can hear this just constant refrain of mortars and cannon shells pounding against him, and you just don't even see him react to it. He's just walking casually through this, not even the way you might walk through like rain, like the way you'd walk through a warm summer day. He's just looking around. Occasionally he lifts an arm up, and dozens of bolts of lightning streak out over it. More of them are kind of streaking out to where you are. You see small fires pop up here and there. And as you're driving, and you can see as you're, driving towards this, who's driving, by the way?
I assume I'm still driving.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected too. As you can see this flame, seem to suddenly shift directions. Like the wind seems to suddenly pick it up, and it starts moving inward. Like it was blowing initially over the river, and now suddenly it's blowing across the street to a little bit. I need you to give me a dex roll, because this happens pretty much instantly as this flame kind of shifts direction. Go ahead and give me a dex roll to drive this thing out of the way of this fire that's kind of spreading oddly. Let me guess. All right, so yeah, go ahead and give me a dex roll to kind of swerve out of the way of this fire that's suddenly moving in your direction.
Yeah, he already did.
That was a 2.
A 2. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not gonna really help out. So I'm gonna need everyone in this first van here. Go ahead and give me 2 defense rolls of any kind. Dodges, withstands.
I still have my damage effect going, don't I?
Is that against the fire?
Yeah.
Could I reactively drop the well?
Inside the vehicle, it's not. It might not matter as much, but I think there might not be enough room for it to fully expand inside the back of the van. I could see some of the other trinkets maybe helping. You could give me a wits roll to try to reactively drop either of your other trinkets, I think.
All right.
And let's do that first, because that might give us bonuses to everybody else.
Is that aware? Would awareness apply?
No. If you had reflexes, maybe, but this isn't kind of sensing something. This is more about reacting. That's good. Okay, so yeah, which one were you dropping?
I'd use with my whip the drop. Would drop table work?
Yeah, probably if you're set it up on the far side of the van, where the fire is, starting to lick at this thing, and you can feel
Good
it.
old. Is there any power that's currently going on in the truck?
Mine is.
Yeah.
Is it bad if I were to stop it?
No, but it is currently going to lower the damage done by the
Alright.
fire if it does get in.
I suppose I'm gonna use whip plus drop table.
Sounds good.
Actually, I think I'm gonna take the damage. I think I'm gonna opt to actually take the damage from Behemoth.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So which?
Well, it'll be minimized by my damage, I think. So that
Yes.
won't be too bad.
So in that case, okay. So we have. So which effects are going on?
I'm currently using damage and sound and light.
Okay, and then we also have the drop table, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Go ahead, everybody inside the van, give me a guts roll.
Everyone?
Yeah, everyone, or sorry, not a guts roll. Just give me a defensive roll of some kind. We're looking for a 4+. If you're just going to take the damage, you take a lesser burn.
Awesome. I get a block on Behemoth.
There you go.
Evade is not something I can really do since I'm driving, isn't it?
No, you're kind of limited because you are driving. You could give me, withstand's probably your best option here.
Withstand is guts, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Then I got a 5.
Excellent. Did anyone fail who didn't choose to?
I just got a solid 1.
Okay. So yeah, you're going to suffer a lesser burn as well. So you can both roll up your lesser burns. Bebop and Rez.
Remind me how to do that. Percentage. Oh, there we go.
That.
Fun.
And if you have armor, don't forget that
Wait,
as well.
Is it a lesser burn by default or a lesser burn?
It is a
after my
moderate burn by default.
Ouch.
So one of them was negated because of the knockdown, and then the moderate ones were So both of your things went into effect to different levels. So yes.
Using with the effect of my damage aura, can I re-roll the wound effect to see if I can get a better one?
Absolutely.
Yes, I'll take burn because I believe I am covered up.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So So you all.
So
yeah.
If we got higher than a 4, we take a lesser or nothing.
You take nothing if you got higher than a 4. You're all fine. If you rolled above a 4, you're good. But it was just Rezhisser, Rez and rolled lower, and Bebop decided to take the hit to gain charges. So you two are fine. That being said, though, this you can see, the lightning glancing off Behemoth is causing steam, massive amounts of steam to cover the roads up ahead. There's just huge clouds of it. And so for our drivers, I'm going to need you to give me some drive rolls to avoid, just because this steam is definitely, it's so thick you couldn't even cut it with a knife. And while there is very little traffic, there still is some. So go ahead and give me a roll. It's just a 3+.
Okay, there we go. 5.
Excellent. So you're able to get through. You see some cars coming in the distance, and you're able to get out of the way just in the nick of time. And you eventually get to a spot where, you are in a much more advantageous position. I'm gonna send you a picture, but you can see basically you're out of this scalding steam, and right across you can see Behemoth is charging through this train station. Trains are on fire and cooking off like firecrackers exploding when he moves close, and they're fuel tanks ignite. There's a massive explosion when the local refueling bit blows up, and you can see that there's just this line of tanks slowly trying to lay into him with absolutely zero success of any kind, and it is disheartening to say the least. But you find a little outcropping here. So you've gotten some success on the Tinker Tech itself, but you still have a little bit of ways to go before you can actually use it. So I'm curious what all of you are doing to try to figure out how this Tinker Tech works, and then and try to set things up to make it work properly.
So Behemoth doesn't seem to be actively doing anything to us, right?
No, he is definitely focused on the military tanks and the forces there and the planes above that are attacking him.
How many hundred feet away is he? How many hundreds of feet away is he from us?
That's an excellent question, and I'm about to give you the answer. He is a cool. He's a cool, probably. Why can't you just give this to me in hundreds of feet? Let's see.
I can switch my damage to perception and try to help figure out this this Tinker Tech, because we've got to get it figured out pretty fast.
Okay, divide by. Give me 1 second. He's probably about 800 feet away. Oh.
Aaron, hello.
He's around 500 feet away.
Okay, and but how is our progress on the thing?
So what were y'all doing? So were you? Yeah, sorry, I missed that bit.
I grabbed one of the canisters and I was like,
You're messing around with it, trying to make it work.
Maybe it collapses in my hand to become a little bit smaller, and I shove it into another canister.
Sure. Give me yeah, go ahead and give me a no roll then. What about the rest of you?
I've switched from damage to perception, and I'm just looking at it.
Sure. Go ahead and you can give me no rolls as well to try to figure it out here.
I'm just gonna try and tinker with it. Try to maybe read. I don't know. Try and figure out what it does.
So if you're trying to put it together and try to actually tinker with it, you can go ahead and give me dex rolls. Kind of try to actually craft with it and put the pieces together.
What roll?
Dex. I think crafting is dex, but if you can give me another stat that you think is more appropriate, I am all open to that.
No. Yeah, would no work for that.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, go ahead and give me a no. Okay, so what do we got here? A 3, a 5, and a 4. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at... Okay, so that is good. So... You all are starting to put this thing together. You've got it. You're piecing things. You're starting to understand it, and you get that it is a single large sort of totem pole-esque cylinder that the pieces need to be put together in a very specific order. Each piece, either connects with the one above it or below it in a very particular order. And if you don't, you can quickly see that it will cause a power loop feedback, which will cause basically it's going to vent its destructive capabilities right here on top of you, because it basically seems that it is a sort of a kinetic, what's the best way to say this? What's the term for it? You know those balls that people have on their desks that kind of knock each other back and forth?
Yeah, Newton's
Yeah.
cradle.
A Newton's cradle, perfect. It's basically a giant kinetic Newton's cradle where instead of just a single ball's worth of energy, we're talking maybe kilotons. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't want that over here, but you are all getting very close to put this together. The only problem is uh, that as you're doing this, Behemoth turns directly towards all of you, and you can all see, you actually get a good glimpse of his face finally, and you just see this blazing hot eye in the middle of his face, and this, crooked maw filled with obsidian-style teeth look right at you, and you can all feel your blood run cold for just that moment, as he raises a talon, and suddenly bolts of lightning start shooting out at all of you. What do you do?
Okay, so he's a -2 to hit me and Rezhisser because of the smoke.
I have a question. So
Yes.
I have my perception thing, which in the sort of flavor is basically I'm slowing down my own perception to better react to things, and that's what the extra die is. Would I be able to react in time to switch? Actually, are we about to fire the weapon, or is the weapon not ready yet?
So that's the thing. You could either stay here and not take defensive actions to shoot this thing and basically take the full brunt of these lightning strikes, or you can take some defensive action and get that sweet, sweet help in not dying. Your choice. You'll be able to, of course, go back and try to use it again. It's not going to, it probably won't be destroyed.
I'm very much for
but
not
The
dying.
device is almost ready to use, or not at all?
It is ready to use. Yeah, you know the pattern. You have to literally fit in just a few more of the parts and then aim it, and it will do its thing.
Is there anything? Is there anything like small car size that I can just float in the way of some lightning bolts?
Yeah, there is your car, and there is Sovis's car, and give me a. Let me see actually here. Yes, there is another car by the side of the street that someone has abandoned.
I'm a just run over and try to bubble that and towards the lightning.
Sounds good.
You realize you're killing a civilian.
There's no one in the car.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
shoo.
Unfortunately not.
Okay,
so that's what Doth. So that's what Doth's. That's what Bubble Trouble's doing. So Bubble Trouble, you're using. So let's take this in turn. So you're using a committed action to bubble it and shoot it out.
Committed action to bubble it, and then just the partial or whatever to move over there.
Sounds good.
And then.
Okay, that's good. Ivanushka, what about you? What are you doing?
Good question. Could I? I have a lot of dumbass idea. Could I use? If I made the car tougher, would that protect us? In any way?
If people jumped behind the car, yes, it would. You could use the. You're thinking of using the
Lockdown.
The lockdown, right? So yeah. Yep. It would make it much hard. So yeah, it would make it much harder. You think it would definitely give you some level of protection. It's more going to protect the car than you, though. So yeah, but it's not going to be useless.
Could I use lockdown? Go behind the car. Another idea. Could I put the well in front of the car and use lockdown on it?
Yes. Yes, you could. I think, let me see. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, then in that case, Rez, what are you doing?
I don't suppose I can hold this turn until after I find out if we're going to be firing the weapon or not, because what I do depends on if we're firing the weapon or not. Have we determined that?
Yeah. So y'all are free to. So that's a good question. Sauter, what are you planning on doing? I'll say that yeah, you can hold the action if you want and see what Sauter's doing.
So she had taken some time already to aim a little bit.
Just so you know what I'm planning, if I activate my damage effect, any hits we take from the lightning will be weaker, but the trade-off is our outgoing attack will also be weaker, and if this is meant to be a big, powerful attack to stagger Behemoth, you may not want to weaken that.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Because Behemoth has a -2 to hit me because of my suit.
Yeah. Yes. Your suit makes it harder. The Endbringers use slightly different math than that, but that translates to yes, it will be harder for him to hit you.
Yeah, and because I've taken two, so it's two steps harder instead of the one steps because it technically have to be a -4 to hit me if he was a cape.
A -4.
Yeah, and plus of a cumulative -2 to hit. He's hit me twice in a row when I've fought him.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So what I'm gonna say is it's just gonna be the -2 because those instances were far enough apart that they were. Yeah, that's more of sort of a one long combat here.
Okay.
So it'll still just be the minus, or yeah, because you're mostly getting it from the attack he just did on you with the manipulating the fire, but the other one is a little different.
Okay, can I ask?
Can you ask?
While I'm charging up the shot. Yeah, I'm in bubble trouble. Can you bubble me while I'm like she starts pulling back the bow, and there's like the bow's literally forging the arrow that she's pulling backwards right now.
That's very anime.
I believe Bubble has already used both of their actions.
Oh no, it's fine.
Yeah, I've used both of mine. One of them was just to move that car in front of everything.
Yeah, to give you some protection.
And then the other was so I could actually get to the car and move it.
Okay.
So I'm just standing out in the open right now.
Okay, I'm just going to use my 2 partial actions. Yeah.
You're just going to use your 2 partial actions to aim and, charge up your bow?
Yep.
Okay, then. All right, so I'm going.
Okay, so I still have my perception and sound and light active.
Yes.
So I will not activate the damage because we're going to be attacking, and instead I will try to get out of the way of incoming attacks and get into cover.
Okay. So you're going
I'm continuing to talk throughout this to maintain my perception.
Okay, so so just to be clear, so you're activating the thing and then you are diving to cover?
It was already activated. I'm just continuing the activation, taking me to the second turn of it and heading into cover.
Okay, so you're just diving for cover. Okay. And
yeah.
And keeping your field active. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So there's a lot of effects in here, so please bear with me so that I make sure that you all get the proper protection you deserve. So, we're going to start we're going to go one at a time because we have a lot of different things here. So, Doth, Bubble Trouble. Go ahead and were you working on the totem pole?
Me?
Yeah.
I was not. Bubble, not super smart.
No, that's fair. That's all I need to know.
She would have just stood to the side.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a defense roll 2+. Go ahead and make me a defense roll 2+.
That's a no.
That's
Because they use guts and athletics. Athletics is for dodge, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a no.
Okay, but we have the protective field from Rez up, don't we?
But you could
No, you
also call on your once-ified
Yes, you could count.
guaranteed.
You're right. I'm gonna use that.
Okay, then it's a 6, and you're good. All right.
Yeah, the damage field for Rez is not up.
Oh, okay, sorry, never mind then. Okay, so Ivan, go ahead and give me your defense roll. I need you to give me a 4. I need you to give me a 4+, but you have a shit ton of armor, so that will definitely help.
Roll 2h6 plus 1. Gamer.
Okay, so you're good. So yeah, the blasts arc, around you. They strike the the well and dance off it, and you feel the electrical tingles shoot through you, but it's not enough to actually hurt you, or really your well. So you're good there. Rez, go ahead. So let's see here.
Red does get the bonus as well.
The bonus. Yes. Oh yeah, from your suit.
Yeah, it gets the 2 dodges. I don't know. I know I get the smoke thing, and I feel like because it's like the same made by the same tinker, I think he also gets the smoke thing.
Yeah.
Or
Probably. Let me double check really quick. And I'm sorry, I keep asking this, Rez. Which of your abilities are on right now? Just remind me, because
It's the stealth.
stealth and did I drop really? At
One.
this?
You're also
Sorry, say that again. I dropped right at the moment you said it. I'm so sorry.
I've got the stealth one, so 3 extra pips of stealth and perception, which means I have an extra die.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, perfect. Okay, so go ahead and give me your defense roll with a. So you need give me a defense roll. Let's see here. That's gonna cancel, and that. So go ahead and give me a DC 3+ to defend.
If I fail with 3h6 plus 1, I deserve to die.
That's such a mood.
I did not fail. Everything
Nice.
is fine.
Everything is good. Okay, so nice. And then solder.
yeah.
You have a lot of fancy tech here. So you're gonna go ahead and have to give me a. Let's see. You're going up to at least to a 3, another to a 4, and then you were pretty close to the thing, so that's gonna be a 5+. So go, and then it's gonna be downgraded. So go ahead and give me a 4+ to defend, if you want to defend. But you're arcing your bow back, right?
Yep.
So if you do defend, you'll lose your charges from it.
Oh, if I defend, I'll lose my charges.
Yeah, it has to be a continuous thing.
Okay, that's fine. I have to read my bow again.
Because I believe it has to be uninterrupted pulling back.
It's actually no. If I'm let's see, you can build 3 shots. Hit what? I don't think it says I can't defend. It just says
If the cape is attacked while they are generating a process, while they are generating a shot, the process can be interrupted. Roll a die. On a 1, the shot is lost, and the process. Oh, never mind. So yeah, we'll roll a dice afterwards.
Yeah, so I get the 6 on the dodge roll.
You get a 6 on the dodge roll?
Yep.
Okay, you're good then.
And then roll 1d6. I'm gonna make that a 6. I don't want to lose the shot.
All right, go for it. So in that case, yeah, the lightning arced over, but luckily all of you were able to duck down into the various cover. However, you then see, Behemoth, he kind of bombards the area for a few seconds, with this electricity that kind of plays lightly over things. It's mainly focusing on the electrical elements and the metal objects. And so it's, particularly, being drawn to Bubble Trouble's bubbled car and the other sort of things. And those of you with armor. But eventually, it starts to, peter off a little bit, and Behemoth turns to what looks like some other either capes or military people attacking him and starts blasting them to pieces. And in the process, you see basically the entire rest of the train depot go up in flames. What do you do?
Let's ready to go. I'm gonna assert the damage on my well.
You're gonna assess the damage on the well. Yeah, it hasn't taken any damage. It looks like it's held up, very well.
I'm gonna retract it, everything, and we should probably get firing.
Have we opened fire on Behemoth yet?
Nope. The totem's still there. No one used their action to fire on Behemoth.
Fire that.
Yeah. Fire the totem and my thing at the same time.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're able to go ahead. So the totem you've already prepped, and so it's literally just sliding the last piece into place, and it launches out. No problem. Solder. So what's the increment on your bow?
So it's if I spend two more partial action, like basically I can use up the rest of my partial actions and it'll be a critical pierce.
Sure.
And I'd be rolling at +2 plus my aim plus dex, so it's like a +5 to hit.
+2 from sure. If that math checks out, then go ahead and roll it. That's fine. Nice, an 8. So yeah, you see, this shot sink straight into his shoulder blade, and yeah, he stumbles forward a step, as though he'd been stabbed by, as though a person would probably suffer from being stabbed. I'm gonna wait until I reconnect because I'm pretty sure y'all can't hear me right now. So yeah, the blade sinks. So this arrow sinks straight into the shoulder blade of Behemoth, and cuts deep. But he kind of just staggers from it. Meanwhile, who is activating the totem?
I'm guessing that's me.
Sure. So yeah, you activate the totem, and it starts humming violently and vibrating, and it levitates off the ground a little bit, and basically starts twisting and aiming itself towards Behemoth, at the coordinates you set in, and then it shoots off. It rockets straight up to Behemoth and stops, right before hitting him, and then rights itself. And you see Behemoth turn to face this thing, and raises talons up, and suddenly, the thing just lets out this ear-piercing shriek, and you see lines of energy radiate off of it. One of them cuts deep into Behemoth's other shoulder and cleaves straight through his arm, and basically at the shoulder, his arm just is completely severed and falls off and falls, heavy to the ground, and you can see that it's threaded with other, light scarring, and he staggers back for a second and then bats at the totem pole sitting there, and the whole thing just immolates immediately, bursting into fire and flames, and you can hear him roar primally, and then he turns and looks at all of you again, and you can see that despite there's ichor pouring out of the wound in his shoulder, and you can see, just threaded, his eye, originally when he looked at you, it was just, with a complete desire to destroy. And now it is actual fucking malice. And so you can see him, start glowing. His entire body starts giving off a faint white glow. And with his free hand, he picks up what looks like a train car and is holding it over his head, rearing back as though he's about to throw it at you, glowing the entire time. What do you do?
All right.
Teleporter.
Teleporter. I'm gonna place a teleporter in the car, yeet the one near the car for our teammate, and run as fast as I can inside of it.
Fantastic. So give me so to run fast enough to avoid, of course, a radioactive train car being thrown at you. Can I get some athletic rolls to get to this portal in time?
What?
Actually, Ivanushka, you're close enough already, so I don't need one from you. But the rest of you, I'm going to ask for some athletic 4+ rolls to run fast enough to get close. If you want to run to the portal. If you have other plans,
would it be possible to just bubble myself like right into it? Because it's 50 feet.
It is 50 feet.
It's a good
and
distance.
That's a good distance. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna say, give me the bubble. How wide across does the bubble have to be, or can it just be like, just around your person?
It expands as far as it can up to 8 feet.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
I can always just
reaction
get rid of it as I'm like there.
Okay, in that case, give me a wits roll with a wits roll with a +2, or a +1. You're looking for a 4+, and that's basically to deactivate the portal before, or to deactivate your bubble before you get to the portal and basically bounce off of it. You got to deactivate it at the right moment so that you can jump in. Oh my God! Really? This is the way we do things? Okay. All right. Back. So, does that make sense, Bubble? Or did you hear anything I said? Or did I cut out too soon?
No, I don't think so. I got to the roll wits with +1 to not bounce off. I got a 6.
Okay, then you're good. Yeah, you stop it at the last moment. You dive through. Ivanushka, you're in there pretty easily because you set up the portal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Rezhisser, or Rez. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm sorry. What are you doing to get to safety? You're gonna try to run for the portal or something else?
I'm gonna try to run to the portal.
Rez, you use that little energy charge to to double your movement.
True.
Gonna do
Will
that. That'll
get rid of it permanently.
No, just for an action.
Here, let me scroll down so I can see it. So it's for which thing was it that did that? The bodysuit?
The bodysuit. Yeah. Basically, the bodysuit gets a charge every round that you're in combat, and it got a charge last round.
Okay. Well, it gains Enable storage gains 1 charge on the. So it actually gains a charge when it hits against it when you hit a given opponent.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
seeing.
so that you don't have body. Okay, but I
Have
have.
you hit?
Fine. I have 3h6 plus 1. I think I'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
On your dodge or your run or just generally avoiding harm?
You wanted to do an ath check to just run to the portal?
Yep, bingo. Just get into it before this thing lands on top of all of you and spreads its horrible radioactive particles everywhere.
So yeah, I'm gonna speak again to renew my effect, and since it's the third turn, just in case, I'm gonna activate the damage effect because I can get a third effect.
Perfect.
And using both of my bonus dice, I rolled a 6.
Excellent. So yeah, you're able to get in there too. Solder, how about y'all?
I just press the fucking Iron Man button in the center of my suit, get double movement, and just athletics the fuck in there.
Awesome. So give me the athletics roll with a +2, let's say.
All right, so
Always a chance. What'd you roll? Sorry, I got a million tabs here.
4.
4? All right, that's fine. So yeah, you're all able to jump inside. So when you're all inside, Ivanushka, do you leave the portal on, or what's the plan there?
Fuck no.
All right.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So, yeah, let's.
I'd sooner eat my baby than leave the portal on. And God, I love my baby.
Well, there we go. So yeah, you disarm the portal, and I think that's and you don't hear anything because the portal's there, and it's kind of this anticlimactic thing. You also have the portal here, but Sorvost and some of the others get through. Let's actually see if everybody comes through. Oh fuck! Oh god! Oh
fuck!
dear
Oh
lord!
God!
Oh no, I just thought of something that I might have been able to do.
So actually only Sorvost is able to get through the portal in time. So the question is, do you leave the portal open? So there is a chance. So you can see that the thing, the others are a far ways away. They are scrambling to get inside. But you feel that if you give them the chance, there might be a risk that, the shit hits the fan in here. So the question is, do you leave the portal on for the other 4 members to try to get in here, or do you close it? Did that moral dilemma come through? I didn't know, or did my audio cut out?
We're asking how far away the
Yeah,
train
how
car
far is the train car from us?
So it is 1 round. So it is going to hit you. Is basically going to fall down. Like, you can't really see the full of it, but knowing where it was when you all came in, you know that basically if you wait 1 round, it will hit the location. And so basically you have the option of closing this portal preemptively on the 4 members of your team, the 4 squad people you just met, and trapping them outside to deal with this radioactive train car, or closing it and not risking your own hides on the potential radioactive nastiness.
I do still have a question. Is this considered a new turn for us, or is this the same turn?
This is the same turn. So if you've used up both your actions, mainly I'm asking, Ivanushka is going to be the one who's going to have to physically probably do it, because most of you spent your because he was closest to it when he activated it. So the rest of you are kind of able to use free actions to talk about it, but there's no other actions y'all can take.
I have a partial still because I didn't use my partial. If it's the same round sort of thing,
then never mind. Then yes, Bubble has a partial.
But I don't know what I can do with that.
That's an hard fucking question.
I think that we're here for the people, and not just our people, but we're here to keep people safe. So I think we do what we can to minimize any damage and let people get through.
Yeah, but there's a chance we all fucking die. And that's not good, because, we all dead, including those NPCs.
there are definitely tinkers out there, or someone who can fix radiation poisoning, right? Because
Can I use shut off before I
Um,
go?
can you use shut off? It might help, but yeah, it might help a little bit.
Because
Would
it
If you
that
says
activate it in the
it's
room, it might be able to protect you all. Yes,
yeah. It says shut off says it like reduces all ongoing area of effect that
right.
would include radiation.
Totally.
When
Yeah. No, yeah, that would include it radiation. So yeah, if you want to activate that instead of, yeah, you can do that instead of closing it, and that'll be, yeah, that will totally be a move you can do.
would
all
that
right,
stack with my damage effect, reducing the damage of AOE by a step?
Sorry, repeat that again.
Would
Yeah,
that
use
stack with my
your,
damage effect?
um, yeah, so it's a 50% chance versus power AoEs, so that's just they'd stack to a degree, I think.
Alright.
Yeah. Your
Mine,
aura is your aura still going, or does is it reaching in here, kind of?
I think it's still going. Like I imagine it's a situation sort of like the door maker thing.
Right. No, that makes sense. Okay then. Yeah, that sounds good.
And mine doesn't say that it's 50% for powers, it just says any AoE damage.
Right.
yeah.
I'll be real with you. This doesn't deal straight damage, so I'm gonna have to get a little creative, but I will make it work. So
Okay.
if that's your move, and y'all and everyone's used up their stuff, then I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna need everyone to make. I'm gonna need everyone here to make guts 3+ rolls for me.
Oh, here we go.
Poggers.
I guess I
Does
should have used all my dice already.
does endure apply?
Yes, I'll say endure does apply.
Fingies crossed.
3+. Poggers.
Oh, that is some serious.
Do you still have your one session 6?
Nope.
Someone can give
I can
you it.
donate. Wait, so what's the DC? Do we know? Or are
3+.
we allowed to know?
Trick.
It's
oh,
to you.
thank God for Smiley being nice sometimes.
All right, so Bebop.
If you want to give your 6, you can, but if you don't want to give your 6, it's
I've
understood.
donated the 6. Take the 6.
I take the fucking 6.
All right, fantastic. So, yeah, so you all snuck by this one by the skin of your teeth. Your teammates, you can see, them start jumping in, and that, and you can see, yeah, just glow. As soon as the train hits the ground, it explodes basically into dust, glowing dust particles, and starts, wafting around in a pretty horrific display. And it's only then that you're able to, once everyone's inside, turn off the portals. So I'm gonna take a quick step outside of the game really quick and get OOC. How are folks feeling?
Good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did people so we've been at this for a bit. Do people want to keep going? Do we want to take like maybe a 10-minute break, come back to it, or do we want to maybe have this be a good place to pause and then keep going? How are folks feeling on that front?
I at the very least need dinner.
hmm
I ask because I am in a similar position, Clark.
As am I.
So maybe it's break for dinner, and if we end up wanting to keep playing, we come back and restart.
Sure. Yeah, we can come from this point. This should work.
Yeah, I'll have to see how I'm feeling after I eat.
Okay, I mean, how much more do we expect to have? Like, is this something that like is going to be long enough to where we would want to do it another time, or is it something we'll wrap up tonight probably?
We will not wrap this up tonight in any way, shape, or form. That I can promise you. We are about 20, maybe 25% through, is what I would say.
Oh gosh.
We haven't. None of us have died yet,
Yeah,
which is good,
Yeah,
which
Thank
is
God.
good.
impressive.
Yes.
dude. My teleporters are actually MVPs.
Oh my!
Yeah, definitely. We just see anything happen. You've combined that with two of us having damage.
Yes. It's definitely a really nice match. Okay. So why don't we do so yeah.
The
So like
teleporters.
yeah, because we have I mean, I think our schedules work pretty well together, right? Like Tuesdays and Sundays seem like they're good days for us. So people wanted to return to this, a few times. And I think as we get into this and get the hang of it, it'll move a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So on that
What
front,
what time is it for you right now?
it is 7:40 for me, but I have no problem going as
7:40.
long
Okay.
as folks want to.
I'm just asking so that like when you give a time, I know about how far you are from me, which we're in the exact same time zone at this current moment.
Yes,
So
that is the reason most of you were picked, was because your time zones were closest to my Seattleite time zone.
I'm
So
3 hours away.
that should be an indication of how many people we had from the East Coast and apparently Central Europe. So shout out to all of our Central European Weaverdice players. That being said, so yeah, why don't we take like 20, and then we'll get back on here and see how we're feeling. If we want to continue, that's fine. If we want to plan for another day, that is also fine. But let's do that.
Gotcha.
Okay?
All right,
all right.
I'm gonna cut the recording.
Okie doke.
Okay, so let's cut the recording together.
Just count it down.
Sure, go ahead. Sorry, mine's acting up here. Okay, so on go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.